Ms. Goodman, please let the record reflect that all members are present. Everyone, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. All right. Vice President Del Palacio will read the land acknowledgement statement.
Yes, the Tolleson Union High School District serves 14,000 students with 15 indigenous communities represented throughout our 7 high schools. The Tolleson Union High School District Governing Board would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Acamel, Atum, Pima, and Peeposh Maricopa peoples, and pay our respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. We recognize their enduring connection to this land, their rich culture and language, and the invaluable contributions they have made and continue to make in our community. As we gather today for the Tolleson Union High School District Governing Board meeting, let us remember the significance of these lands and honor the legacy of the original stewards of this territory. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, with that, I'll make a motion to approve the regular agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I vote yes. Vice President Del Palacio?
Yes.
Member Ortega Romero?
Yes.
Member Sun? And Member Dr. Luna Nahara? All right, let's move into the fun part of our meeting. I'm sure most of you are here for our celebrations. And we're going to start by hearing from our Distance Learning Academy and our principal, Ms. Nicole Baumgart.
All right. Good evening, Governing Board President Chapman, Vice President Del Palacio, board members, Superintendent Calles, Ms. Goodman, and guests. It's an honor to gather here tonight in celebration of the remarkable achievements made through Distance Learning Academy this year. First, I would like to start on a more serious note by honoring the life of one of our beloved teachers, Ms. Dunlap, who tragically passed away in January following a brief illness. Prior to becoming a teacher, Ms. Dunlap served in the United States Navy. She also worked in a law office and was a school librarian prior to beginning her teaching career at DLA, where she served for the past 4 years. Ms. Dunlap was a lifelong learner and was just 60 days short of completing her AIU program to earn her master's in school administration. Ms. Dunlap poured her heart into making a difference in students' lives. She taught history in a way that encouraged students to study the events of the past and use them as a framework to apply and understand the issues we face today. She is deeply missed by the DLA community. In her honor, we would like to challenge all who are here today and watching online to continue to pursue lifelong learning, never give up on your dreams, and don't be afraid to follow your own path and have your own opinions, even if they're not the popular one. Thank you to Ms. Dunlap. With that, we would like to change into all of our celebrations. Before we get started, we do just want to talk a little bit about how our program works because it's a little bit different. So our students use the same curriculum, they use the same content that they do at the traditional sites, but students just access it in a more flexible way. So students complete a daily discussion board post, they complete their assignments online, tests, quizzes, they have access to teacher videos, and they meet with their teachers virtually Monday through Friday through Microsoft Teams. We have 3 different types of classes at DLA. So we have regular pace classes, which are English and English and math, and they're completed in a semester, so 18 weeks. We also have rapid pace classes, which are completed in 9 weeks, and then our flex pace classes, which have a fluid deadline, and they're completed through Edgenuity. So when students do enroll with us, we can customize what their schedule looks like to give them the best plan and meet their goals. We have a group of committed and hardworking staff. Many of them have been here since the beginning of Tolleson Virtual Academy, and we've built this program from the ground up. They are constantly challenging the status quo and fighting to provide the best instruction for our students. Our guiding motto for the 25-26 school year is expand, excel, and empower. This year, we have expanded significantly in our enrollment. We have worked together to establish stronger systems and processes as we have moved from a small school to what we now call ourselves as a medium-sized school. Our student enrollment data, we continue to grow. So this is the past 6 years enrollment. The top line there is this year, it's the dark blue line. We currently have over 100 more students than we've ever had at Distance Learning Academy. And currently we have 830 students, and we grow each day. This next graph shows students by grade level, and you can see where we were at in August, October, January, and then in March. So you can see we have more juniors and seniors, less freshmen and sophomore, but they've still been coming in at a similar rate throughout the entire year. We also can see in this chart right here, enrollment by site. So 96% of enrollments are coming directly from the home site, and you can see it's coming evenly from each site. West Point is a little bit higher, but West Point has a slightly larger enrollment, so that makes sense there. Here we can see the number of transfers. So there's a larger number of transfers. This is from the beginning of the school year till the end of March. So we had over 700 students transfer from in-person to online this year, and then in reverse, we had about 75 students go from DLA back to the home site. We've also increased in our staff size, so we added an assistant principal this year. Right now, we have 11 DLA teachers that are teaching an extra section. In addition to that, we have 8 in-person teachers teaching an extra section from the home sites to hit our online students. And then next year, we are bringing on an additional counselor for the 26-27 school year. So we want to expand our minds and be open to new possibilities in the future. Many students are seeking non-traditional and a more flexible route, and we need to be open-minded to changing the way that we deliver education as time progresses. Oops, sorry. As we set our intentions to expand at the beginning of the year, we also wanted to ensure that we were excelling during that expansion. At the beginning of the year, each department set a success rate goal, and this refers to the percentage of students who earn credit in their course by department. We wanted to ensure that online students are earning a credit at a rate similar to the home sites. In semester 1, every department met their individual success rate goal, and we had our most successful semester in school history. Here you can see the comparison as to how we did in each department comparing semester 1 in 2024 to semester 1 in 2025. So this is where we landed in December. So we saw significant improvements in each department. And I especially want to point your attention to art and PE. Over the past years, these are the areas that we had the most difficulty with. And in last year's presentation, you requested an update as to how we're doing in these areas. We still have room to grow, but PVA saw an increase of 38% and PE saw an increase of 33%. This is done by our staff continuously analyzing data and completing the continuous improvement model of Plan, Do, Study, Act. In many departments, students at DLA are earning credit at the same rate that they are at the home sites, and that's something that we're incredibly proud of. And one of the major contributors to this success is our first teacher of the year, Mr. Dallas Gilliland. All right, Mr. Gilliland is part of our 11th grade intervention team. He is a leader and innovator with technology. He's patient with all of us and helps us try new things and trains us. He's a behind-the-scenes leader. He is great with data and Excel. And this year he took on a whole new prep in the middle of the year. He teaches world history and US history. And then he also teaches our 0 hour for students that are trying to get ahead and taking an extra class to get ahead. He is a leader on campus, and he's also a freshman baseball coach at Copper Canyon. So we are very proud and happy to have Mr. Gilliland as part of our staff. All right, another outstanding student that we have is K. Anthony Valdez. So Mr. Valdez, come on up. K. Anthony is an outstanding student who was nominated by Miss Rodriguez. I know she's here. Give us a wave, Miss Rodriguez. All right. Miss Rodriguez states that K. Anthony has demonstrated meaningful growth, resilience, and dedication to his education. Since joining us last year, he has made significant progress by taking ownership of his learning and setting clear personal goals for success. He has been intentional about improving his GPA and ensuring that he truly understands his coursework. His commitment to not just completing assignments, but genuinely learning and growing reflects a level of maturity and determination that sets him apart. In a virtual setting where independence and motivation are essential, K. Anthony consistently rises to the challenge. He approaches his work with focus, takes initiative, and continues to push himself each day. Congratulations. As we expand and excel, we also want to empower our students, staff, and families to own their learning. At DLA, we have a commitment to connect and encourage our students to participate in in-person events, such as school activities and events, and we are excited to have had several students attend Commitment Day this year. Our students also participated in CTE leadership events and the TUHSD art show. Our staff had the opportunity to attend several national PD events that we bring back best practices to our students at DLA. So I attended the ISTE conference this summer in San Antonio. We also sent a group to the Solution Tree RTI conference and the DLAC conference, which is the Digital Learning Annual Conference, and that's designed specifically for online schools. So we know the best practices happening in online schools and bring them back here to Tolleson. This year, our teachers came together to look at school-wide data, and we found that our 11th grade students were struggling more significantly than any other grade level. And as a result, our group of teachers formed the 8th grade intervention team, also known as the interveners. You can see them here. Together, they formed a plan to target specific students and collaborate around students using a method similar to the 9th grade freshman program at Sierra Linda. This group was also developed a caseload method where each teacher was assigned a specific group to check in on. And this method, we hope to replicate it for all grade levels next year. This group has been all teacher-led. We're proud of their work, the collaboration, and ideas that they've brought to the table. And next up, we have our DLA art show. We brought a couple of examples over there. Just want to make sure our kids get as much exposure as possible. So we had our students submit their artwork in the art show. In the past, only images of their art were submitted, and they weren't able to actually compete in the correct category. So this year, many students submitted their actual artwork, and we also made DLA history with our first student earning an honorable mention. That's Taylor Balaguer for her watercolor piece, which is over there with the ribbon. So we're very proud of her. Another one of our art students is Mary Jane Ibarra. She's here today, so come on up, Mary Jane. Mary Jane was dominated by Mr. Diaz, if you can wait. All right. He states, I nominated Mary Jane as Student of the Year because she consistently demonstrates creativity. She has a strong communication skills in an online setting. Every time she messages me about some of the assignments, her thoughtful input has inspired me to enhance my online assignments to be more engaging for all students. She is committed to completing her work on time. The quality of her work sets a standard for others, making her a model student in both effort and achievement, and you can see her work up there. So congratulations, Mary Jane. All right, up next, we're about to announce our next Teacher of the Year, and this one is so great that he requires a hype video to show you how creative he is in creating his online videos for students and helping in the emceeing in the recent art show. Come on up, Mr. Diaz. So Mr. Diaz is an outstanding teacher. Prior to coming to DLA, I also had the opportunity to work with him at La Jolla Community High School, where he taught ceramics for 10 years. He did amazing work then, and he created the best culture with his students. And it's been so awesome to see him transfer, being a very hands-on teacher with clay and being able to translate those skills to the screen, and really help bring our art program to life. And it's so impressive. He's also, of course, played a critical role in planning this year's art show, but many other art shows in the past. So congratulations, Mr. Diaz. All right, and as principal of DLA, I'm so proud of the way that our students, staff, and community have lived out our motto this year of expand, excel, and empower, and I'm so excited for all the great things to come at DLA. With that, I welcome any questions.
All right. Well done. Congratulations. Thank you. Yeah, Ms. Baumgart, thank you for sharing incredible highlights for the year for DLA. First, I also just want to thank Ms. Dunlap, her family, for not only service to our country, but service in the Tolleson Union High School District, and our students in DLA, and thank you for sharing that with us. I just seeing incredible academic growth, engagement with our students. I love the intervention team that's put together to intentionally target students that are needing a little bit additional help, especially with a flexible program like DLA. So once again, thank you. I saw there's a couple, any folks from our DLA program that are here, please stand and be recognized. Thank you for your work. And then I also I saw some family members before and during the board meeting for our students and staff members that were recognized. If you wouldn't please stand up and be recognized as well. We appreciate your partnership with the district. We're a little shy today. That's all right. But again, incredible team at DLA. Ms. Baumgart, thank you for the work that you and your team are doing. I'll turn it over to my board colleagues. Member Ortega Ramirez.
Ms. Baumgart, thank you so much for a very well put together presentation. I want to start off by just sending my condolences to the family of Ms. Dunlap. You know, I think, especially in education, there are people that just put their heart into the profession, especially in education, like I just mentioned. And I could just tell by the small collage of photos that that's what she did. So. I also, kind of just want to mention the positive enrollment trends, which is obviously, very great and just amazing. I do want to understand more about the success rate. I know it mentioned about, the credits in each department. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
earning credits now.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, obviously on a very positive trend there, and want to just close by congratulating the teachers and staff of the year, which the team does an amazing job. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Member Sutton.
Thank you for being here and sharing your achievements. I know that this is a village to create this kind of a success. I always like to listen and hear how you guys can find problems and not try to, move on and with all the success that you guys have had. I always take personal pride in our district with our staffs and leaders that will go to the front line, actually find something to solve. And the intervention is definitely a great example of your leadership and the teamwork that you guys are providing. And I wholeheartedly support that kind of an endeavor. Whenever if anyone in the district, sees something, and say something and act on it, it's a win-win, for our community. So I'm really proud to see that. And congratulations to the teachers of the years and also the students, their achievements and their accomplishment. You know, we have no right to take any credit, but we have so much pride and, you know, and we're just so honored that you've all chose our district to attend your education, to obtain your education and to choose us as your vocation. So again, well done. And I would love to tour someday and visit. Anytime over at Westview. I know, and I know you guys always had the invitation. It's just things get so busy, but there's a lot of things that I would like to see within the program and where it can grow and where the needs are. I know that's very clear defined, before, but I would like to personally hear from the firsthand to understand a little bit more of the needs that you guys are asking and how that looks like, so that we can do a better job in implementing things and directing our superintendent in the right direction.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. Member Dr. Luna.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Baumgart, for being here. I also want to offer my condolences to Ms. Dunlap's family and to the staff who work with her and the students who work with her, because we spend so much time with each other, and so it's I can imagine just how difficult the loss has been. The pictures that you shared are lovely. You could see that there's a lot of spirit there, that she was somebody who was very lively, and we thank her family for sharing her with us. I appreciate, Ms. Baumgart, your the Expand, Excel, Empower. I think we can see that in the success of our students, right? The flexibility that DLA offers, I think it tailors the program to fit the students' needs, and I think that that's very important. Unfortunately, we lose students either to charter schools or to private schools because they need flexibility, right? And so they're looking for something. So the fact that DLA can offer that to our students, I think, is a huge accomplishment. We see here the 3 different PACE classes, right, that are offered. And I think that that's excellent, because you have some students that might need a little bit more help, some students who, grasp it quickly and can move quickly through some of these courses. And I think that overall helps their educational plan. I also feel that having these classes tailored specifically to our students allow them to move on to that next phase, whatever it be, either if it's going back to their campus or continuing to stay at DLA, but it allows them to continue their growth, their academic growth, and fulfill their goals that they set out. To the students of the year, Mary Jane and Key Anthony, congratulations. I congratulate your parents as well, because it does take a village to get you where you're at. And so I wish you the best of luck. I look forward to seeing what you do in your next steps. Mr. Diaz and Mr. Gillen, thank you so much for choosing the Tolleson Union High School District. We appreciate you choosing the district and sharing your talents with us. Thank you, Ms. Baumgart, and thank you to your administration and staff as well.
Thank you so much.
Vice President Del Palacio.
Thank you. Ms. Baumgart, I remember when we kicked off this opportunity for our students, and we have certainly come a long way. So thank you to you and your staff for working hard day in and day out to ensure that we have increased enrollment, to ensure that you have the most successful semester, and it's in the school's history. I mean, that's just phenomenal. It doesn't come without doing the hard work. And I think in the name Distance Learning Academy, right, it's a little deceiving because our students are more connected than ever. And it's because our students are connected through your services and programming is the reason why we're seeing a lot of the successes, because they feel connected. And so that's an amazing feeling. So thank you so much to you and your staff, and congratulations again to the staff of the year, the students of the year. Very impressed with the artwork. If you haven't had an opportunity, please make your way up here and see some of their artwork on display. I mean, we got real talent here. And are some of those pieces for sale, just in case some folks might want to buy some? I just want to know if the kids are selling the art, because it's beautiful. But anyway, thank you so much for all that you do.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Baumgart. All right. Now, please join me in welcoming the principal and leader of our Continuing Education Academy and Lighthouse Academy, Mr. Travis Johnson. And real quick, I forgot before, but if you have a friend or a loved one that's getting recognized, whether it's staff or student, when they're called up, please feel free to come to the sides if you want to get pictures, video, and all that fun stuff.
Oh, I'm just going to give a plug for our district. How can you not want to come to Tolleson? Wow. You're talking about the opportunities, the programs that we have. It's second to none. And I know we're going to hear from one more school, Sierra Linda, next week, but man, I was sitting in a meeting today, and one of our districts out that way told a student, "We can't help you." That's disheartening. I'm glad they came to Tolleson because we can help them. And to see all of our programs grow, it's just an amazing. So that's our plug. Why not Tolleson?
Oh, I like that.
Good evening, President Chapman, Vice President Dela Placio, Board members, Superintendent Caius, and guests. It is my honor to celebrate the James A. Green Continuing Education Academy and the Lighthouse Academy. Aligned with the district's motto of excellence in every endeavor, this year our motto was embracing that excellence. In everything we do, we want to go back to what makes us great and that excellence. So we want to embrace it. And that's no different in any of our schools. Why alternative education? Why our mission statement? So the last board meeting, or 2 board meetings ago, we had to submit to the ADE our mission. And some people might say, why your mission? Well, our mission is the why of our schools. It's our purpose. It guides our daily decision-making. It fosters supportive culture for students who have not thrived in traditional settings. No different from my colleagues, our goal is to align ourselves with our district strategic plan. And I'm going to give you 2 stats today, and I got to work on the other ones, but you'll see some pretty good results and some stuff we have to work with. So when you look at our student achievement accountability, our goal is to increase percentage of credits earned versus credits attempted by 10%. And we're going to do that through tutoring programs, individual learning programs, increased student support. But when looking at this table, and I'm sorry if you can't see it, it actually, I need to change our goal. Because when you look at the differences between credits attempted and credits earned, we have a 73% completion rate, and in 2022, a 75%, then it jumped up to 85%, and right now we're at a 73%. So that kind of leads me to believe, don't go for the 10%. Let's achieve an 80-something% success rate, achievement rate, credits earned. That's how we're going to determine our accountability and success. So moving forward, when I bring this to you, it's going to be a 5-year plan on how we are doing when it comes to credits earned versus credits attempted. The other one is another goal that we always had. And I looked at it and I'm like, we have to be able to change it. 80% of students will maintain an 85% or better attendance through implementation of attendance incentives, improved student outreach, supportive interventions. But when you look at the goal, our graph, in blue is the percentage of all students that come to alternative ed by semester. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, we have some work to do in second semester. First semester, 72%, it goes down to 69%. First semester goes to 75%, goes down to 69%, and so on. But look at the orange. So I did something different. Any student that was enrolled in the first 10 days of the semester, through the end of the semester. And look at the difference. If you're here that first 10 days, we have an increased percentage. So again, yes, we can attend that 80% mark. We just have to go about it a little bit different. But I just thought that was interesting that, first 10 days, we all know that if a student missed within the first 10 days, they become at risk. They know they're going to have some attendance issues. So again, just trying to do something different. Culture and climate goal, we'll always have that. Our students want to come to us. What are some of the things that are keeping them there? So again, our goal is to increase that student engagement by implementing different activities, community building events, fostering just a inclusive atmosphere. And then our communication, there's no such thing as over communicating. We have to continue to reach out to not only our guardians and parents, but our stakeholders on all the good things we're doing, because we are doing some good things. So again, we're in that driver's seat, we're kind of going, and now we need to kind of reassess on what we're doing. So we'll continue to meet kids where they are. We'll continue to do small group instruction, one-on-one, online instruction. We have self-paced. We have different instructional delivery models. We have technology. We have different creativity. So again, we have to meet our students where they are. And we want to have continuous improvement. I was listening to the State Department for Alternative Ed, and they talked about, I don't think any alternative ed can get an A. Well, with their way they're calculating it, I know we can't. But again, we're going to strive towards that A, because I want to be just like our sister schools. And this is still a work in progress. Just some of our student spotlights. We're staying involved. This is from Commitment Day. Our students, we had a booth. Our students went to Commitment Day, so you can see there. Student of the Month. Through our PBIS program, we honor students of the month in both of our campuses. And then we kick it off or end it with our Career Day. Fifth Annual Career Day this past March. It was a success. So this is some of the things that came out of our Career Day. And then this is we do workshops on Wednesdays, and we do different things. So again, it's whatever we can do to kind of put down that pencil and paper and kind of work with their hands and peer interaction and just increase that. Anything that we do, this is what our students need. All right. Celebrations. Ms. Janiyah White, come on down, our Student of the Year. How you doing? What's up? So Janiyah is an exceptional, this is from teachers. Janiyah is an exceptional student who has consistently demonstrated resilience and ability to make sound decisions faced of adversity. Academically, she's performed at a high level and shown more growth than any other student that I've taught during my time at Lighthouse. Janiyah is a top choice for Student of the Year, as her growth academically and personality has been truly an outlier. Congratulations. Is Chris here? Chris Vera, come on down. Vigera. How you doing? Chris V when he moved from Lighthouse to CEA, has continued to stay motivated in his academic goals. He is respectful, shows up to school, have not observed any concerns regarding his behavior. Always has a positive attitude. Per my observations, Chris has grown leaps and bounds since moving from Lighthouse to CEA. He's also been a role model to students at both sites. He's a very respectful young man, and he leads with his actions. We're so proud of you. Congratulations. Mercedes Barajas, come on down. How you doing, Biscuit? Mercedes has been crucial maintaining our learning environment, keeping our learning environment clean and tidy. She's always ready to help when we are in need. Even though it's not part of her job description, she always makes a point to check in with staff after the kids leave, just to see how we're doing. Mercedes is well-deserving and a valued member of our alt-ed staff. And Mercedes, I want to personally thank you for being you, bringing your A game every day, and you truly have made us better people. Thank you. So she has many names: Elizabeth Mendoza, troublemaker, the go-to person. I think Miss Council said she's the real one in charge over there. So over here. So yes. So this is from one of our team members. I want to give a huge shout out to Miss Elizabeth Mendoza for being such an outstanding person. Coming into this new job, I was nervous and questioned so many things, but having her as a coworker made all the difference. She's incredibly helpful, kind, and always willing to answer any questions that I have. Thanks to her, I feel confident in what I'm doing every day because she trained me so well. Her knowledge and dependability truly stands out every single day. She consistently conducts herself with the highest professional manner and interacting with staff, students, and parents. She is extremely hardworking, remains determined to give her absolute best, taking great pride in the quality of her daily work and responsibilities. She makes Lighthouse and CEA a better place. I'm so happy that she received this award. And Elizabeth, thank you for all you do. I couldn't do it without you. You do everything with integrity and pride. Congratulations. So I wanted to be short and sweet, but let me just tell you, the next person that comes up, I can't do it without him as well. Again, why do we do these things? We do them for kids. When our departments are connected, our departments are just in lock, stock, and just in alignment, we do great things. And that's no different from the OASIS department to our APDs to my fellow principals and again, DLA. We have so many options. And I know people are watching at home. Why Tolleson? Well, you've been seeing it through this semester, why Tolleson. And we got one more coming with Sierra Linda. I just want to thank you for all your support.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Great presentation. I appreciate, certainly even before my time, the work that you do for our students that either needing that alternative education delivery model or through Lighthouse, our kids just, need a second chance or a different structure in their life. I know you've been very, not just skilled at that, but very compassionate with those students. And I think even
Can
more.
I interrupt you one?
Yes, sir.
I need to thank my staff. Is my staff here? If you belong to alternative education, please stand and be recognized. I can't do it without you.
And I think, a quote you just said that I think definitely applies to our entire district is, when somebody else said that they couldn't help that student, that we can. And not only can we, but we do. So I appreciate you sharing that story because I think it's important for, our community, and, we serve a lot of students outside of our boundaries that choose to come here for a number of different reasons. So messages like that I think are important for us to understand that not only can we help those students, but we choose to, especially when they choose us. So definitely thank you to you and your team for supporting those students. Again, just seeing the growth. I love your goals, especially the attendance goals. Actually, engaged in a conversation earlier today about attendance being a really critical factor for what we're able to do in schools. So I like seeing how you're pushing on that and working on it. But again, just thank you to your entire team. Congratulations to our students and staff members that were just recognized. If you're a family member or a friend or loved one of any of our students or staff that were just recognized, please also stand and be recognized, part of our Tolleson High School District community. We thank you for choosing Tolleson Union High School District and certainly our CA and Lighthouse program. So again, thank you, Mr. Johnson. I will turn it over to my colleagues, Mr. Ortega Romero.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. I, like you said, want to keep it short and sweet. First, I appreciate and I, just support your sentiment about, the district being here to help students, because that is what I see. All the teachers that I go and, visit when I do my campus tours, as I call them. And it's just that's what they're here to do, and I'm sure the students feel that way as well. I know I did when I was here as a student, and I just appreciate that you mentioned that at the beginning. Secondly, I just want to also share, Mr. Chapman touched on it, but viewing the data differently, trying to create strategy of the 10-day attendance, I think is a way that we can build that attendance to go up, and I think if we're able to keep students engaged and learning for those beginning 10 days, I think we have something positive on our hands. So I appreciate you for being able to bring that to us, so thank you.
Thank you. Member Song.
So having a little technical issues. Mr. Johnson, thank you again for being here, and most of all, just being there for the students. What you presented today, always give us an insight of what you do continuously, day in, day out. And I applaud you and your team for stepping up every day for these students. I love to see that they are out and about. They're not just in a four wall, that they are fully engaged, giving them a connection. And I think that's the key word, is that that connection lets them to rebuild and to create that foundation. And again, we're not there every day, but you are. So we thank you, for me personally, from the bottom of my heart, to, look after these kiddos and, giving them that connection either through their academics, their self-esteem, their relationship, personally, professionally, academically, and having you guys there guiding them and fortifying their connection. Because ultimately, as human beings, the most important thing is to be connected. And sometimes when they're this young, sometimes they disconnect, with all the distraction that's out there. So thanks again for being their guardian angel. And congrats to the students of the year, Janiyah White, Christopher Vergara, and then, of course, our employee of the year, Mercedes Vergeras and Elizabeth Mendoza. Congrats again, and to their families and friends.
All right, thank you. Member Dr. Linda Hare.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Johnson, for the presentation. Mr. Johnson, can you just remind me how many students you have total at CEA?
I think we're at 90, 80, I think we're 85 to 90 right now. We've been as high as 96 this year, but just overall mobility, we average about almost 200 kids that come through us through the whole year. So I haven't had that data, but right now we're sitting about 85 to 90.
Okay, wonderful. That's helpful for context. I think when we see that our students there at CEA can receive one-on-one support, I think is very important. And this is a testament, right, that the class sizes are small so that the education could be tailored to their specific needs. You know, one of the things that stands out to me in your presentation is, you know, where you state, you know, that meeting students where they are, you know, and in my opinion, I think that is the foundation to tailoring the educational needs that they have specifically to them. And so I appreciate that you are taking that approach where you are meeting students where they are in order for them to be successful. I do want to congratulate Janiyah White and Christopher Vergara for being Students of the Year. Congratulations. Clearly, you have done a very excellent job, and I look forward to seeing what your next steps are in your education. I'd also like to congratulate Ms. Mendoza and Ms. Barajas for your service and your dedication to the Tolleson Union High School District and for choosing our district. Mr. Johnson, I don't have any other questions. Just continue to do a great job. I appreciate the climate and culture that you are able to provide. You know, the students are engaged and they're involved, and that's important, right? Especially when we have a lot of mobility with our students, that they can establish a sense of community. That will only support them to continue their education because they find their community, right? And they feel that they fit in. So thank you for a great job. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Vice President Del Palacio.
Yeah. Mr. Johnson, well, first, I'll just start off by saying thank you for not giving up on any of our students. When another district cannot meet their needs, we can. Thank you for accepting them and saying, yes, we can, and we're going to help see it through. And that's not a knock on any other districts. Not every district is fortunate us to have the resources and the staff, and the talent we have to be able to help our students reach their fullest potential. So I recognize that and see that in your staff each and every day. So with that, I want to congratulate our students of the year. Just keep going. Keep going. There's more of this waiting for you. This is just the beginning, right? So we're excited to see what you do with the rest of your career here. And of course, to Ms. Barajas, thank you for everything that you do, going above and beyond, day in and day out. And also to your boss, Ms. Mendoza. Want to congratulate her on everything, on holding down the fort. We all know how important those admins are to our day-to-day work. So just keep it up. Obviously, what's happening in your facilities is equity. You're meeting kids where they're at. Everyone's a different learner, but everyone deserves the opportunity to reach their fullest potential. So thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you. Right, we are going to do one more quick celebration, and then we're going to take a quick break. We have some cookies here, so if you stick around with us, you get some chocolate chip cookies. How about that? So our next celebration will be from our Office of Activities, Arts, Athletics, Safety, Security, Intervention, Prevention, and Supports. Say that 5 times fast. Led by our director, Mr. Derek Folsom.
I apologize that you said quick. As we begin this evening celebrating Oasis, we find it difficult to look at our small department and not find happiness and celebration and content and being happy with the work we do, but we find that our celebration really is the people around us and the people we work with and the kids we serve. It's the community results that really are what we will show this evening, and it's really not about us or the team that I am fortunate to work with that you've been able to give me to celebrate. And so when I say we're celebrating people tonight, that truly is what we're doing. And I want to start by celebrating the team, like I said, that you were able to give to the Oasis department. And I'm just going to formally introduce them, and then they will present in their own areas. So first of all, the glue in the department keeps me as sane as possible. The administrative assistant for myself and the Oasis. The entire team is Noemi Herrera. Our Director of Student Services, Misty Andrews. Our Intervention Coordinator, Andrea Ariano. Our Prevention Coordinator, Katie Kallstrom. And our Security Coordinator, Robert Bobby Zavala. I introduced them first so that you can understand the different areas that they serve rather than do that at the end and you're wondering who did what. So we're going to go ahead and move into their presentations, and you'll see that we are recognizing people tonight. So first of all, in the athletics, arts, and activity section, one of the things that was kind of a focus throughout the year was safety, and we incorporated that even into our attendance at events, and we implemented the clear bag policy. It's pretty standard anywhere you go. Our athletic directors communicated with site administration, the community, the coaches, the parents, and really that went off completely without a hitch. There was good communication by the site APAs. We took that seriously. We want our events to be enjoyable and safe, and they did a great job implementing that. A really big adventure for us going into next school year is the Tolleson Union High School District will be the first district in the state of Arizona to implement the Rydell Insight technology in all of our football helmets. All of our football helmets will have impact data analytics inside their helmet, and every time that a student participates in a tackle, it will assess the impact onto that student's brain and to the head area through measuring in the helmet. It will also be monitored real time by our banner athletic trainers. They'll be on the sideline with a device that will be able to monitor during practice and in play when a hit may have reached a level of observation and they want to check on that student. It will be a tool that we can use to make sure that our students not only are being monitored during play, but also we can use as instruction, that if a student continues to have all of their compressions in the front of their forehead, that we can maybe look at that student's tackling technique. And our coaches can utilize that data to then be preventive, but not just reactive. And we're looking forward to that, and those helmets have arrived in our district already, and they'll be issued in August, and we actually had Rydell come out and fit our kids. The next one is that we want to make sure that we take care of all of our programs as they expand and grow. Our athletics have kind of what we call emerging sports, and as people show more interest in that, we take more of a risk of offering that. Well, we've now have kind of expanded that also in our performing arts, where now we have schools that are more doing folklorico, more doing guitar, more doing mariachi. We will be adjusting and incorporating rotations and funding for those programs like we have been able to do through your generous budgeting and allowing us to support those programs for 2026-27. That'll be a target area for PVA, working with Teresa Houlihan, our PVA coordinator. And next, with the another thing of communication and safety, but this safety is IT. We're switching our clearance athletic portal to rank 1. We've been using Activate, but the neat thing about rank 1 is it pulls all of its data directly from our student management system. So we have better control over that data, better control of that information. We don't have multiple student accounts. We don't have forged accounts. It'll do a better job of communicating with families and providing safe environments with our coaches being able to track attendance, communication, and inventory. And then lastly, in the athletics, arts, activity area, we have amazing continued growth and success, as you guys know, in our Unified and Special Olympics programs. I would highly encourage sometime before the end of the school year that they have a similar presentation just on them, because I probably could have spent an hour on what they've accomplished this year, not just what they did last year. But you have all been there. You've seen the excitement. You've seen the smiles. There's not a bigger, better program going on in our area right now than watching what's happening with those students, not only locally, regionally, but also statewide, being state champions. So I let the schools celebrate that part. So going into the next area, I'll go ahead and bring up our district security coordinator, Mr. Robert Zavala.
Folks, I'm going to move this because I'm either going to trip on it or I'm going to sit on it. I don't want to disrespect anybody by sitting on it. Good evening. Good evening, President Chapman, Vice President Del Palacio, Superintendent Calles, distinguished board members, and my Tolleson colleagues, parents, and students. Thank you for being here. My name is Bobby Zavala. I'm actually Robert, but I haven't grown up yet, so I'll be a Robert someday. And I am your security coordinator for the district. I want to begin with two important things. First and foremost, I want to say thank you. I want to turn my back to you folks. I apologize for a brief second. I want to say thank you to the school leadership that's out there. Because every principal, every assistant principal of discipline, every principal, API, APR, XYZ, FBI, everything, You guys have done amazing to accept the reality that school safety is truly important. So my thanks to you, to the school leadership, first and foremost, because as we know, school leadership is crucially important. Second, I want to share our goal. Our goal for these lovely people up here is our goal is to make the Tolleson School District the safest school district in the state of Arizona. That's a tall, tall drink of water right there, let me tell you. But that's our goal, and that's what we're going to shoot for. Achieving that goal requires a holistic and comprehensive approach to school safety. Safety does not belong to one department or one title. It requires collaboration from the superintendent, the school board, district admin, principals, parents, students, teachers, counselors, social workers, school resource officers, school safety officers, and yours truly. It takes all of us to look at the lens of school safety and say, this is truly important. This is what we want. We want the safest school district in the state of Arizona. With that shared responsibility in mind, I would like to highlight 5 focal points, as you guys can see on the slide. These 5 focal points will serve as a foundation of our district-wide approach to campus safety and security, guiding how we plan, guiding how we respond, and continuously improving on what we're doing every day. Number 1, as you can see on the top left, campus dispatch centers. Every campus is equipped with a fully operational dispatch command center. I'm not sure if everybody knows that. Just like a police department. These dispatch centers provide school leadership, security personnel, the safety and security office with real-time visibility, direct communication, and a proactive response to school safety. We commonly refer to that as the eye in the sky. So our dispatch can see everything on the campus. Number 2, bottom left-hand corner, AI monitoring. Artificial intelligence enhanced virtual perimeter fencing. That's a lot to say. All campuses utilize virtual perimeter fencing and advanced systems powered by AI. This technology supports continuous improvements as it adapts to usage patterns. The fencing system automatically sends photographs to designated personnel, enhancing situational awareness, and I'm happy to present that negotiations for implementation of overnight monitoring is currently underway as well. Number 3, down below, site security plans. Site security plans tailored to each individual campus were developed collaboratively by school leadership. Again, thank you, school leaders, and security teams, assistant principals of discipline, lead security officers. Security teams have created their own individualized detailed plans for each campus, focusing on security personnel rotations, focusing on campus zones, visibility, and accessibility. This strategic approach ensures that every area of the campus is covered and security remains proactive. That's our goal. Proactive and ready to respond to any emergency at a moment's notice. Number 4, Arizona Department of Education standard compliance. Our school district is committed to complying with the minimum standards set forth by the Arizona Department of Education School Safety Program. This ongoing process includes regular professional development training for school resource officers, school safety officers, security officers, and school leaders. That's how I ended up here. Imagine that. This ensures that safety protocols are maintained and continually improved throughout the school year. Number 5, top right-hand corner, weapon detection systems. I know that we've all been waiting. Weapon detection systems are currently being delivered to the school district. Training on these systems led by Superintendent Calles, Dr. Adam Schwartz, where are you, sir? Boom, right there. And Mr. Derek Tolleson will commence in May. We're getting them, and we're getting started. This additional layer of security is designed to further safeguard our campuses and reinforce our commitment to student and staff safety. With all of this being said, I want to finish where I started. Top of the slide. Our goal is to make the Tolleson Union High School District the safest district in Arizona. That's our goal. That's our promise to you folks. And that's our promise to you folks. With that being said, I would like to pass the baton or the paper to Ms. Misty Andrews, our Director of Student Services.
Good evening, President Chapman, Vice President Del Palacio, board members, and Superintendent Caius. 8 years ago, I got a call and said, we're bringing this guy over. He's going to be the safety, security, and athletics coordinator, and you're going to work with him. And I met Eric Tolleson. In that time, we had 6 site team members, 4.5 social workers, and 2 prevention and intervention specialists. Since then, because of your dedication to our team, to our district, to our department, we have grown by about 300%. We now have a chief operations officer, a director, 3 coordinators, 12 social workers, 12 prevention intervention specialists, who have a combined experience of 513 years in education, 128 different schools served from preschool through college, including corrections and alternative education. We have 50 plus certifications and advanced degrees, including K-12 education, SRO counseling, social work, leadership, principals, and we even have a sheriff. It's not Noemi, it's actually Bobby. We have 30 specialists supporting students daily. We have licensed social workers, licensed professional counselors. We have prevention intervention specialists. And what we bring is a student-centered approach, which is relationship-driven. And this practice is collaborative. It's teaming together for solutions-oriented thinking, adaptability, and responsiveness. When I asked my team, tell me what makes you proud of the work you do with students, on the left side, on my left side, is that your left side too? Yes. I heard the words empathy, collaboration, integrity, communication, problem solving, kindness, motivation, compassion. I can't read them all, but we have an amazing team and we'd like to thank you for that. And I'm going to bring up one of those team members, our district prevention coordinator, Katie Kostrom.
Hello. President Chapman, Vice President Del Palacio, board members, Superintendent Caius, and members of the community. Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity for me to share this work. This slide highlights our Tier 1 prevention work through PBIS, Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports, where our focus is on increasing access and connection before students reach a point of crisis. At Tier 1, we're not waiting for problems. We're building systems that support all students proactively. One way we're expanding prevention at Tier 1 is through our resource fairs across all 6 campuses. These are more than just events, they're intentional community partnerships where we bring trusted organizations directly onto our campuses so students can access support in a place that feels familiar and safe. This year, we grew from 57 to 73 partner tables. That's a 16% increase to access. What that really means is that more students are connecting with real people and real services. Our partnerships include organizations like Teen Lifeline, Touchstone Behavioral Health, Not My Kid, New Life Center, Surgeoner Center, and the Arizona Youth Partnership. And we also collaborate with agencies like the Department of Liquor, the DEA, and the Drug Defense Reduction Officers, who provide education awareness around substance abuse and safety. Together, these partners support students in areas like suicide prevention, mental health, healthy relationships, substance use prevention, and domestic violence awareness. And what makes this especially impactful is that it all happens during the school day. So instead of expecting our students to seek out these services on their own, often facing barriers like transportation, time, or simply just not knowing where to start, we're bringing those supports directly to them. In addition to access, we focused on direct prevention and skill building. We scheduled 120 life lessons through our partnership with Touchstone Behavioral Health Services. Touchstone provides evidence-based prevention education focused on coping skills, decision-making, emotional regulation, and substance use prevention, giving students practical tools they can apply in real life. We also facilitated 15 partner classroom presentations with Rise Up Glendale, specifically focused on opioid, fentanyl, and marijuana prevention. To ensure alignment across all of our campuses, we have also held 54 Tier 1 PBIS leadership meetings, engaging 78 staff members district-wide. And we've launched 6 student ambassador clubs, giving students a voice and shaping campus climate and culture. In addition to structured lessons, our PBIS teams are leading campus-wide initiatives that build connection and belonging for both students and staff. For example, Tolleson High School is implementing a Stress Less Week focused on reducing anxiety and promoting wellness during high-pressure times, such as finals week. Across campuses, teams are organizing wellness campaigns, student recognition events, and engagement opportunities that strengthen relationships between students and staff, such as our Lobo Outstanding Attendance celebrations and a Copper Surprise, where students are recognized specifically for meeting classroom expectations. These efforts may seem simple, but they're critical to prevention. Because when students feel connected, they're more likely to engage, seek help, and stay on track. As a result of this work, we're seeing strong staff engagement with a 92% average attendance rate at our PBIS meetings. This matters because when adults are aligned, the students experience more consistency in expectations, reinforcement, and responses. And ultimately, that consistency leads to students feeling safer, more supported, and connected on campus, which can increase attendance. The impact of this work is clear: more access, more prevention, and more connection before the crisis. And that's really the goal for Tier 1, creating environments where students feel seen, supported, and connected every single day. At this time, I'd like to transition from prevention to intervention and introduce our district intervention coordinator, Andrea Ariano, who will share how our students are supported when they need more targeted support.
Thank you, Katie. Good evening, President Chapman, Vice President Del Palacio, governing board members, and Superintendent Calles. I'm going to focus on Tier 2 intervention. So Katie just focused on Tier 1. So all students receive Tier 1. I'm focusing on Tier 2, which is an extra layer of support for students who require those extra layers. If you would please look at the left side of the screen, I'm going to focus on the graph, which is focusing on this year's discipline data, student referrals, and it's from the first day of school to March 27th, and then it's comparing to the previous school year, the 2024-2025 school year. So it's a unique graph. I'm looking at the gray bars on the right side. Those reflect an increase in discipline referrals when we're looking at school policy, technology, and attendance. School policy includes maybe dress code violations, disruption, defiance toward staff. Technology includes inappropriate cell phone use, inappropriate use of student Chromebooks, and then we have attendance, students just not showing up to school, okay? Now you're probably wondering, like, why are we focusing and celebrating an increase in student discipline? Well, this is a celebration because this means that our school administrators and our school staff are enforcing these expectations, these policies, as well as holding students accountable so they are learning in our classrooms. Now, when we focus on the left side of the graph, the orange bars, this includes weapons, parking violations, student discipline for harassment. This shows a decrease, which means our schools are becoming safer. Again, our staff are holding students accountable to make sure that our classrooms and our campuses are safe. And just as Bobby mentioned earlier, we want to be the safest high schools in the state of Arizona. Now, when we talk about what do we do to help these students, well, we have SIT teams, which stand for Student Intervention Teams, okay? And those are led by the intervention specialists. And because of you, we have one additional prevention and intervention specialist at every campus. So they're led by the intervention specialists, and they include experts on campus, the social workers, the additional intervention prevention specialists, the APIs, the APDs, school counselors, and the school psychologists, and some campuses also include the intervention coaches for achievement. And at these meetings, they are biweekly, and we discuss the data that I just went over. Kids who are struggling on campus, and we identify targeted interventions to help them be successful. Now, if we move to the right side of the screen, there's just a few interventions that I want to highlight that have been implemented by our staff at schools. So I wanted to start off with student mediations. We have student mediations to help students learn to have or learn constructive ways to resolve conflict in meaningful, safe ways. We've held 452 student mediations just this year across our schools. Now, we can't force kids to mediate because then it's not going to work. So then I'm going to move to no contact contracts. Those are contracts held between students who are unable to mediate and will prevent further conflict and escalation. And we've held a total of 722 of those. And both student mediations as well as no contact contracts are primarily implemented by our social workers and prevention intervention specialists. So they're doing a lot of work on those campuses to keep them safe. Then I wanted to move to the alternative to suspension groups. So this is an option that students have when they have been assigned out of school suspension. So for example, if a student is caught vaping in a bathroom and they're assigned 7 days of out of school suspension, we may make that 5 days instead of OS. They may be assigned 5 days of OSS and then 2 days of ATS, alternative to suspension. And then they'll attend a vaping class to learn about the consequences of using substances. So in a nutshell, those are just some of the interventions. And just with those 5 interventions, almost 6,000 student interventions are in action right now and have been put in place in Tolleson, which is extremely, it makes our campuses safe. And because of you, we have the extra people to do this. And before I conclude, I just want to remind you that Tier 2 are supports, targeted supports that are implemented before a crisis happens. And now the Director of Student Services, Miss Missy Andrews, will dive into Tier 3. Thank you.
So Tier 3 supports are really those intentional, individualized supports where we have to support students and sometimes our teachers through crisis and recovery. I like to think of our Tier 3 as our contingency plan, but not because all else has failed, but because we need more. When you're receiving Tier 3 supports, you're still receiving Tier 1 and Tier 2 supports. I do want to take a second and talk specifically about Tier 3 supports that happened yesterday at West Point High School. Unfortunately, on Friday, West Point High School experienced a tremendous loss of one of our West Point Dragons. Immediately, our district responded by calling out our flight team, which is members of our counseling team, social workers, and prevention and intervention staff from all over the district. They went to West Point High School. We walked through that student's class schedule and spoke to every single student that was in those classes. A letter was read to all students sharing the loss, and then our social workers, prevention and intervention specialists, and counselors supported the students in the community room who needed additional support. So I'd like to give a minute and please give a moment of silence for our West Point Dragon, David, who his father very specifically said he loved his teachers, he loved his school, and he loved his friends. And that speaks to the growth or the strength of West Point. So if we could have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. We don't do this work alone. We still hold MOUs with Southwest Behavioral Services and Touchstone, and we have had the opportunity to service 338 students this year with one-to-one therapeutic supports because they need that additional intensive support. We've held 98 threat assessments. It sounds like a big number, but we take threats seriously. However, when Ms. Ariano was speaking, you saw a decrease in harassment, you saw a decrease in weapons on campus. It doesn't matter what the threat is, whether it's transient and it's a joke, or it's high and we need to make some changes. We are screening for threats, and then we are leading threat assessment interviews. We've had 104 abuse referrals to the Department of Children's Services. We do, based on every campus has a request for assistance form that is sent out to all staff. That allows them direct lines of communication to our prevention intervention specialists and social workers for anything from academics to engagement to a drastic change in a student. A student has said something, they fill out this request for assistance, and our staff bring those students in, which has equated to over 3,018 personal and social supports. That requires follow-up. We are not a one and done department. So we've documented over 1,177 student follow-ups. We've had 536 transition plans. Those transition plans come after crisis. They come after adjudication and they come after suspension. And I'll get a little bit more into that in a second. 52 crisis line supports. That means we've called Maricopa County crisis line 52 times. That doesn't mean we've only had 52 crises. We've made an intentional endeavor to really partner with our parents in the last couple of years in creating safety plans for their students and working with parents to understand their children's behavioral health needs. So rather than bringing in the Maricopa County crisis teams or calling 911 and having a social worker and a crisis team tell a parent what their student needs, we educate parents about where their child is struggling, where they can take their child to get help. And we write together a safety plan that includes a number and an address of a facility that we've already called, ensure that there's a bed availability, and that that parent is included in the health and wellness of their child, rather than something that we are just implementing and applying to parents. When students leave our campus for hospitalization, they don't just come back and we hope that they do well. We do a transition plan. That transition plan involves setting up safety procedures, allowing them to know who what safe staff are on campus to speak to, listening for triggers, talking about the things that might trigger them on campus, speaking about their coping skills. We also do transition plans after adjudication. If a student is returning from either Maricopa County Juvenile Detention Center, etc., we bring them in and we talk about how we can support them as they transition back into a large school. We do transition plans with Mr. Johnson when students are coming or going to or from alternative education, because that is a transition. When they're going to alternative education, we want parents and families to be aware of what that looks like. And when they're coming back, we want to make sure that we're not overwhelming them by saying, great, you went from this small, really supportive environment and you're back on a campus with 2,000 plus students. Good luck, we hope you do well. We do a transition plan. We often do a split day even, where they start maybe at CEA Lighthouse and take some classes at their large campus, and then we slowly transition them back to their campus if the student chooses. Often students want to stay with Mr. Johnson. The 2 students that he spoke to tonight, I got tearful because I remember the transition there. And you change students' environments and they shine. And Christopher and Janiyah are shining. And I am so proud of them. I do want to say that we have in Tier 3 over 5,761 documented student interventions in action. Our key takeaway is that increased interventions reflect stronger systems supporting student safety and a timely response to need. That student safety, again, is our entire goal, and it follows our mission, vision, and I want to really talk about that vision of service. We talk about the student service team. We are a service to our students. We are here to service them, to support them. Now, before I go to the next slide, I want to just reiterate the amount of work and the amount of help you've given all of us. Last year at this time, we were presenting on April 1st. We are now 6 days advanced. Last year at this time, at the bottom of here, you would have seen that we were at almost 11,000 student contacts. With your increased support for our department and our team's never-ending desire to support our students, we currently are at 14,279 student documented contacts as of April 2nd. That does not include lunch bunches, where our social workers open up their offices or go into a classroom to invite students in who don't have somewhere to have lunch, or flex opportunities where students need to go and talk about just different characters or character opportunities, etc. These are all of those things that we talk to. So that's an underrepresented number, but it's huge. I want to now bring back up our main guy in charge and my mentor and colleague, and for the last 8 years, a friend. So thank you for placing me with Mr. Tolleson, our CFO.
Last year, as we brought our presentation to a close, we had our OASIS celebration of the year. We're going to continue that this year. To lead us into that, I'm going to bring up Ms. Noemi Herrera.
President Chapman, Vice President Del Palacio, and board members, Superintendent Calles. Our OASIS celebration of the year is not an accomplishment. It is not an event or even a competition. It is all the people in every department that help us do what we do best every single day. As an example, we have IT department, keeping our security cameras running and updated all the time. Also setting up our dispatch. We have OLAS and exceptional student services. We're building unified and Special Olympics to levels we never even dreamed of. And grants. For managing the school safety grant, getting us social workers, school resource officers, school safety officers, and for completing the application to get us 12 more automated external defibrillators. Now, to help us close out our presentation tonight, we have Mr. Derek Tolleson.
So, in closing, our celebration of the year really is that we were able to get these AEDs. And I told Ms. Anastasia Lopez, a nurse at West Point High School, that I needed her to come this evening to speak on AEDs. I lied. Our OASIS moment of the year is from September 16th, when Ms. Anastasia Lopez used an AED to save the life of an employee. And to thank her this evening is Larry Halfaker.
I'd just like to say that she truly saved my life, people. I mean, I wouldn't be here today speaking to you if she hadn't. Very good at what she does. She implemented her CPR very professionally. She even cracked a rib, I gotta say, but I forgive her for that. And I'm so glad that she's doing well, and she's very good at what she does. You guys are very gifted to have her as an employee for you. I had a heart attack. Like I say, I went down. She had to do CPR on me. I had to use the AED on me, and then the medics came and took me back. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say, so I just want to recognize her. Thank you very much.
Larry's a tough guy. They had to shock him 3 times. I don't know how he was counting, but he was. But that is truly, as we celebrate all the groups of people working with Nikki and Travis every day to serve kids and get them in the right place and transition them back. Work with transportation, IT, OLAS, ESS, grants, all the people in finance and business office, working with the superintendent's office. It's nonstop. Our department's on the run. In fact, some of you have stopped by the office and usually someone's running out the door and someone's running in the door. But it really is, our celebration really is about the people that we get to work with in this district. With that, entertain any questions.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Folson. You and your team are doing extraordinary work. Student mental health, student safety, and then all the fun stuff with athletics, especially our unified, like all wrapped into one, intersecting with pretty much every department and site across our district. It's not only does it take a lot of time, but I'm sure it has a toll. But certainly a strong level of compassion, I'm sure, that keeps you all going. So thank you for all the work you're doing. I'd also, obviously, we're able to make these investments. I love seeing this team being able to grow so that we can do more. But that's also because of the support of our community over the last numerous years, giving us the dollars to be able to say that, you know, we need to invest in student mental health. We need to invest in all these wraparound services. We need to invest in student safety. I was at an event last year with just about 100 school districts represented, and the speaker, former Secret Service agent, was talking about school safety and like all these other things, and asked the room how many folks had somebody dedicated to school safety, not just like you're overseeing curriculum, but also the security guards at the campus. Only 3 of us were able to put our hands up, you know, which we're fortunate that we're in that place. So definitely want to thank our community for that. Again, and thank you, Slopez, for your contribution. Thank you for what you did, and definitely testing out the AED machines to make sure they work. That's good for us to know, and securing those devices. So again, thank you, Mr. Folson. Your team are doing amazing work for our students that critical service for our students need some additional supports in the classroom and outside of the classroom and our family. So thank you. And with that, I'll turn it over to my colleagues, Mr. Ortega-Romero.
Yeah, Mr. Folson, I remember, I think it was maybe 5 or 6 months ago, you gave me a small tour of your office, that is like your command center, and, you know, I was just very impressed with, you know, the technological advances to implement and continue to promote safety and security for our students and our staff and our communities. So, you know, being able to see, like, by the way, very impressed team. I mean, just very impressed. Like, everything just stands out. You know, I'm someone that focuses a lot on mental health, and being able to see some of that implementation to safety, because I believe it really is about students and safety. Being there, it's just, I mean, I was just very impressed and happy to see that. Obviously, there's a lot of resources and investment that go into this, but it's, I think, the best investment that we could do. So, you know, overall, super just great to see, you know, investments in the athletics, the safety, counseling, and all other additional resources. So I really do thank you and your team for what you guys do to protect our students, staff, and our community. So thank you.
Thank you. Member Son.
Thank you. Mr. Folson, thank you again for joining us and sharing your insight, your department, your achievements with your staff and amazing team. I just want to see, I don't recall the last year's presentation, and if you could share with the community and the public at large, what would be your biggest change or addition that you want us to, you know, be aware of?
From last year's to this year, or
Yes.
moving forward? Both.
Both.
That was a dumb question. I think really the biggest difference was giving us additional support and personnel that we could properly take on the challenges that were in front of us. With the small team that we had, we often felt like we were skiing down a black diamond, then all of a sudden on a, green slope, and then all of a sudden some other kind of slope. And I don't know that we ever accomplished a whole lot to our satisfaction. We were kind of just like swimming as fast as we could to try to get to a finish line. This year, as we set goals and talked at the beginning of the year, it gave us more direction to have people that could focus in areas and really partner together and mesh together to have a common end goal. So the personnel absolutely changed what we do, hands down. So again, there's nobody that approved that other than the 5 of you sitting in front of us tonight. And then moving forward, a lot of what is going to be on our plate is fine-tuning and completing. I can speak, I guess, on behalf of the emergency operation plans and the detail that we're choosing to put in it, and working with Mr. Zavala and going above and beyond minimum requirements. Minimum requirements isn't where I was brought up. I was brought up to try to achieve your best. It doesn't mean you're the best, but we all want to do our best. And whatever that is, we'll live with. And I think that's where we're headed, is we want to do our best because we don't want to go home at night without having done that. And so I think it's really fine-tuning our department so that we know where to grow next. Having the people was the biggest change.
Thank you for the answer. And do you remember what my request was regarding student safety, campus safety, district-wide safety?
Specifically? Ma'am, I apologize. I do not remember, but I will when you tell me.
It's bringing awareness of safety to the forefront of these young, impressive, impressionists, vulnerable, sometimes out of control, to say the least, and somehow to create that kind of an environment of education instead of like treatment. Let's do prevention. Let's do, let's look at the chronic and not the acute. We want to look at where things are festering and how that looks like, get that input from the community, meaning our students, and to hear how they perceive the adults in their world that is the fishbowl. They feel that they are encased, and find out where their outlets are, where they consider is their outlet, which will vary. And sometimes, unfortunately, they don't have one. And I don't need to go into details. So you guys understand, where I'm going with this. And I just have some quick question. I love the breakdown of the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. I've learned something new today. So thank you so much for that detailed information. Yet I still had questions. Under tier 1, what is the core team?
As far as the core team of
Under
implementing tier 1?
Yeah, so who are
talk
they?
about that, Katie, with the classroom, with the classroom intervention?
Thank you, President Chapman and Member Sun. Our core team that PBIS is comprised of is it's a multidisciplinary team. And so every team is equipped with a PBIS Tier 1 team that focuses on school-wide efforts. And that team includes an administrator, a social worker, a prevention intervention specialist, and then we recruit different staff members that want to be a part of this. So we try to make sure that we have all of the voices on the team. So we have classroom teachers, and we have support staff. We are desperately trying to get a parent. So anyone out there want to join one of our PBIS teams? So that's our primary goal, but that's the core team. And then that team is the one that kind of drives some of those school-wide initiatives. So for example, when we talked about like the staff and student reinforcements, like the stress last week with their planning at Tolleson, that was an idea that came out of a PBIS team. It was actually so contagious that we're doing one here at district office, surprise, surprise. But those types of events we come up with as the PBIS team, and then we look at data from discipline and then come up with different ways to intervene with that school-wide data. So if we know that, fighting is up or disrespect and defiance is up, we cater those lessons to our advisories
Yeah.
and then teach to teach replacement behaviors. So our students are able to understand what the issues are on their campus and then how do we come together as a team.
So I don't mean to be a drill sergeant.
No, you're fine.
Why is it the core team attendance at 92% and not 100%?
Well, that's a really great question. We are working towards 100%. We have 10 meetings a year throughout the entire year. So there are times when our teams get pulled for certain things, if there's a crisis, or sometimes admin is pulled out of our team to deal with a parent situation. So when we say core team 92%, we mean that person stayed the entire meeting. And so it doesn't mean that they're not doing work outside of those meetings, but it's actually a pretty big growth from where we were last year. So we're excited to see some of that changing.
No, thank you for sharing that. Again, if we don't ask the questions, we will never know, but that explains it. And that's bravo, 92%, that's amazing, that's great. Because if I was part of that team, it would go down, I'd be like, I gotta go here and there. That makes complete sense. And then another area is the ambassador PBIS support. Is that for the students as well? Because I saw that in tier 2, where you guys are very engaged with the campus's student body.
I'm so glad that you asked that. We do have their peer mentor, PBIS peer ambassador clubs. We've partnered with Teens Make Health Happen, which is an outside organization that we have an MOU with. And they bring in mentors from ASU, and then they help the students come up with different climate and culture activities that they do monthly for the school. So most recently, they did a healthy habits fair where we invited some outside resources, and then all of our student clubs were there to kind of recruit different people, share like, why do we come to school every day? What's your why for showing up? And then making those culminating activities. And so that is particularly led by the student PBIS teams.
And then for the supports for the multiple opportunities for identification of the targeting student needs, that was a great slide going across and with additional information. And that the student contact is at 14,279. Just for the record, if you could state to the public and for verification, what is the student population of the Tolleson Union High School District?
I am going to pass the baton to Ms. Whose side?
Okay,
was that?
Superintendent Guys, just answer that question, please.
I'm sorry, I don't have that number available.
Well, I mean, it changes daily, but off the top of my head, I'd say probably about 13,400 right now.
Yeah, well done, team. That's amazing. I really like that number at the end. It was like, I was thinking it's going to be at 7,000, but to hit every student, that's pretty, I mean, not every student, but majority of them, whatever the frequency is. That's just really amazing. Well done. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Member Dr. Lunahara.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Tolleson. I'm always intrigued to see the amount of data, the data dumps that we get during your presentations. Very well done. I can say without a doubt that the work that OASIS is doing for our district is, you are the backbone of the district, right? Your reach is super far in terms of connecting with those students, right? One thing that we know is that our kiddos come with a heavy backpack every day, right? They bring all of their issues, whether they be mental, emotional, physical, social, whatever it is. They don't check that at the door. So when they come onto our campuses, they're coming with an array of needs. And I think that OASIS is that department that supports our students and helps our kiddos unpack those backpacks so that they can hopefully go home with a lighter backpack. And so, speaking my language here, I absolutely love to see just how student-centered your services are. I'm fascinated by the amount of contacts that you guys have made. I can attest that you are probably one of the employees and the department that is first on the scene and last on the scene when something happens, right? It's not unusual that at 9:30 at night we're receiving updates directly from you on situations involving staff, students, or transportation, or whatever critical safety issues come up. And so I appreciate your responsiveness. I appreciate the team's responsiveness. I appreciate the goal. We have to shoot high, and I appreciate that we are hoping to be the leaders in safety, right? Hands down for the district. My question is, if that's the goal, how do you anticipate measuring? Like what metrics are we tracking so that we can see that growth, right? And see how we are improving in areas that we might need to consider in terms of safety. So I guess what are we measuring to reach that goal?
Well, the primary thing that we would measure well, some of those areas, I mean, obviously the data, the incidents, the number of incidents would be our starting point. But one of the frustrating things in our department is measuring things that don't occur. How do we know how many things we avoided when they didn't happen? How many people in the community were thinking about maybe jumping over and vandalizing a building, and yet they heard the alert go off that the police are on their way? So one of the things that we hope we get to is that we're no longer measuring data of incidents, but we're not measuring data at all because there's minimal incidents. And we never know what the possible outcomes might have been, but that's a very difficult thing to measure in our areas. But I would start with that, obviously reducing incidents and increasing positive incidents. So we're going to look at both sides of that. But that would be our first data that we would use, is just number of incidents for not only behaviors, but some of the campus things and weekend things or evening things, and just measuring that. But hopefully at some point we're going to go, hey, we're at that 0 point. How do we maintain that?
Very good, thank you. And if you can start tracking, I think it would be fascinating to see, how this data changes year by year. And we don't need a whole presentation on it, but
Yeah.
I think it's important to track this information. I do want to thank Ms. Andrews just for providing that moment of silence. I think we we received the update over the weekend, and because it's so fluid, we weren't really sure, or I was not fully sure if it was confirmed or not. So I'm really sad to hear that it was confirmed, and my condolences go out to the parents and to West Point High School as well. One of the things that I also want to mention is, the amount of work that you are doing when handling crisis, I think is important for staff. I mean, we have the nurse here who sprung into action and was able to save somebody's life. Some of these events can be very traumatic, right, to staff. And so I'm curious to know how you are implementing self-care, right? So as a former administrator within a program very similar to OASIS in a neighboring district, I pushed very hard to bring in the dedicated therapist, right, that we had at that district. And as when I was president here of the board, I brought that to this district, right? And so I know that we have that, and I know that Ms. Andrews is the one that's leading that.
Yes.
And I think that it should be highlighted here, right? Because that shows the multiple layers, right, that we are providing in terms of self-care and supporting not only our staff, but our helpers, right? So if our glass is empty, we cannot help others, right? And so we need to make sure that we are taking care of our staff. And so I would be curious to see if we can get maybe some just very raw data, any stuff that doesn't identify anybody.
Yeah, and I know,
see-
I remember you asked me about don't forget the employee part, but sometimes we get so student focused. We still have that employee part going on, and I'll let Misty address it real quick. But just as an example, we had an incident at a transportation situation this morning, and our concern wasn't only just the student, but the driver of the bus that was driving the bus. And so maybe we take it for granted that we're doing it. I don't know. But I mean, yes, the adult and the employee piece is a big part of our team too. And Misty can talk about the EAP part.
Perfect, thank you.
So additionally to our EAP, we recognize that there was a population of our parents, or excuse me, our teachers that Dr. Nahara brought forward that might be fearful of using our EAP because they're not sure where those numbers go, where their names go. So we brought in initially 1 dedicated therapist. We are now at 2 because we have increased our capacity. At one point, there was a waiting list. I just did a staffing with them about a month ago. About 2 weeks ago, sent out another email reminding our staff about our dedicated therapists. In regards to our team, because of our community support and your support, last year, our prevention intervention specialists got to go to South Carolina to a behavior support consortium, which had sessions revolving self-care, shared trauma, etc. And then a month ago, 10 of our social workers went to St. Louis to the National Social Worker Association of America. We had gone to the Arizona one for a couple years. And while that's a great association, we saw a lot of repetitiveness and wanted to collaborate with our peers nationally. And so we were able to do that. We also work with COI, and monthly we meet with our team. We have our own PLC, and we take care of each other. We are, when their buckets aren't full, we are going to fill them. And we are truly a family. I actually have one of our members here. Did she leave? Oh. Did she just walk out? Miss Jordan is here, and she brought to our district with a blessing of Miss Haskins. She is going to have our first ever, I have notes, our first ever HBCU event on April 22nd. It's going to be district-wide, where all students will be invited to West Point to engage in historically Black colleges and university. It will be a fair that includes multiple schools. Our BSU students will be there putting on displays. There will be college booths, and then they'll talk about the Divine Nine. We're looking for a step team to go, but we feed off each other, and I have the pleasure of supporting the most amazing 30-some people in any district, and I would stand them against any team because they are amazing, and they love kids, and they love what we do, and I don't ever wake up and not want to be around them, ever. So thank you for them.
Thank you.
Vice President Del Palacio.
Yeah. Well, first of all, to you and your team, and I'll begin by sending my condolences out to our West Point Dragon, David. It's evident that our staff had a tremendous impact on his life, and I'm sure they would say the same about him. So thank you all for being there for our staff and students in those tough times. I mean, truly, you guys are first responders. You're first responders. When things happen, you go down. But more importantly, before they happen, you're also there. You're proactive. So just again, thank you for helping to keep our students and staff seen, supported, connected, and safe. This is how we achieve excellence in every endeavor, is by doing those 4 things. And I got the goosebumps. I got to tell you, I got goosebumps when you brought the young lady up who saved our staff member's life using the devices that we have in our campuses. That is just phenomenal. And I hope we highlight that story and share that out. A real life hero. And everyone here is a hero, but that's really awesome that we have this happen, this miracle here. And so thank you again for your service and your quick action and truly being a lifesaver. And I'm just so ecstatic. And I'm glad that my colleagues all agree that we're utilizing our tax dollars appropriately by making sure you have every single resource you need to keep our folks safe, whether it be mental health, tier supports, I mean, just all of it. There's never not a need that you come to us and we say no, because we want safety for all. We want everyone to feel seen, supported, and connected. Thank you.
All right, thank you all. And members, I know there's additional questions. I'm going to ask that we submit those to Superintendent Kayas. We do have one more student that's been waiting patiently with her guests for about 2 hours to be recognized. And then we're going to take a quick break. So thank you, Mr. Falson, and your team, for presenting this evening.
Thank you.
All right. I promise there are still cookies. Bobby has been guarding them. They are safe. I'm going to turn over to Superintendent Kayas for his updates and do one update. We have a student that's been waiting patiently for 2 hours, so thank you for sticking around with us. And then we will take a short break for the cookies I promised a little while ago. So Superintendent Kayas.
Yes, first, Cadet Riley Decker, could you come to the podium? Captain Cardoza, feel free to join her. Like, say some good words here. I'm going to share the update while you're up there. President Chapman, members of the board, proud to report that one of our Westview High School cadets, Riley Decker, was one of the scholarship winners for the Ethical Cadet Better Business Bureau Scholarship sponsored by SRP. The judges were thoroughly impressed with her written essay, and to celebrate her accomplishment and recognize her achievement, they are awarding her a $1,000 scholarship, along with an additional $1,000 for the JROTC program at Westview. So congratulations, Riley. Your work is a great reflection of yourself and your unit. And Captain Cardoza, I don't know if you wanted to add on and share any more about Riley.
Real quick, Captain Cardoza, JROTC President, Mr. De Palacio, governing board. Thank you, Superintendent Gaius, for having us here. I wasn't prepared to talk. But anyway, we have the opportunity every year to compete in this scholarship essay contest. And it's open to 29 schools that have ROTCs across the valley. And only 10 scholarships get awarded. And pretty much every year, I think they started about 5 years ago, Tolleson High School District has been able to bring at least one scholarship to our district, which obviously that reflects on the hard work that our English teachers do, helping our cadets learn how to write good essays, and obviously the good group of students that we have in the district. So I appreciate being here and supporting Riley.
All right. Come on down. Great job. Congratulations. Give it good work.
All right, congratulations, Riley. Thank you for coming out. Captain Cardoza, we appreciate you. Congratulations on that. Now, as promised, we'll take a quick recess. We have cookies over here, so and some water, so feel free to grab something, and we'll be back briefly. Thank you.
Excellence in academics.
Excellence in athletics.
Excellence in college and career readiness.
Excellence in extracurriculars.
Excellence in traditions.
Excellence in services.
Excellence in visual performing arts.
Excellence in every endeavor.
we're just the tip of the iceberg. We have a lot more work to do. So where do we go from here? A+ School of Excellence.
La Jolla being an A school is really exciting. It took a long way to get here and it was a lot of hard work, so it's really cool to see the accumulation of our work and then now seeing it's like, look at all that hard work paid off.
It's great recognition for the kids that we have, which are some awesome kids, and the teachers, that all the work that they've done in all curriculum, all classes, the dedication they have to make our students' lives better, the time that they put in. I think it's showing all the effort that a lot of people have put into this.
And when I started in 2017, we were a C. And so now, being an A and being a part of that growth and change is really, if I think about it too hard, I might cry, because it's really cool. We deserve that.
The thing that put us over the edge is that we had a principal who was steadfast in his commitment and consistency with how he wanted to approach staff, along with getting the right administrative team in play. Now I think we've got a team that works well together, that understands the mission, that understands the vision, and that we all support that and help the faculty understand that as well.
I think the journey has been 3 years long, so the A label is not just 1 year flash in the pan, we found something glorious. It is an accumulation of 3 years of work, commitment to the PLC process, and commitment to student learning over teaching, and that commitment has resulted in higher test scores.
It's definitely a team effort. I know that was one thing Dr. Sorensen really hit on today is from our support staff to cafeteria workers to everybody on campus every day. It makes a big difference to how we got here. So a big thank you to everybody, including our students. You know, students are a big part of it too. So it's just great for the community and great for everybody in the Avondale area.
I'm so happy for these kids. Of course, we're here, celebrating as a staff, but this is 100% about the kids. And I'm very happy for them. I couldn't be happier that we're in this position, and that to let you all know, we're not done. We're going higher than this.
We deserve this. We've earned it. I think I'm lucky because I've gotten a front row seat and I've gotten to be a part of this growth. So we just keep going.
Something I would like to add on is Dr. Sorensen put in a lot of work and I think that should be recognized, and he really drove it. And I know sometimes it's hard and he gets pushback, or he's hearing all of these 125 teachers be like, ah, but we're doing it. I'm really proud of him.
Well, now that we're A, that just means we have to grind even harder because we have to maintain the A. That's the expectation. This needs to be something that just is. It's just what we do. Next up is A+ School of Excellence. Next up is IB World School. Next up is multiple A ratings all in a row until we are the perennial high school in Arizona, in the nation, and the world.
Sierra Linda is on the rise. Whether our students dream of going to college, joining the military, or finding the perfect career after graduation, we will be there every step of the way. We believe the high school experience should be filled with unforgettable moments.
My plans for after graduation would have to be attending Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland, pursuing a bachelor's degree in psychology.
My school is my community.
My favorite thing about Sierra Linda has to be all the opportunities on campus, including the electives you can choose, the clubs, and the sports on campus.
Sierra Linda offers career and technical education options, performing and visual arts electives, 17 different sports, and more than 30 student clubs. We believe in your path, your future, your school. Join us. Let's rise together.
academics. We are the #1 public high school.
University High School has consistently been an A school and recognized as a top public school in the state as well as the nation.
Just a testament to the hard work that our kids put in. No matter what the variables are, the continuity and the continued sense of excellence is really what makes this special.
Every year is special, and every year I say I'm not going to get attached to these freshmen, so someday I can retire, and that never happens.
Our students are, of course, motivated by academic achievement, but that's not the totality of who our students are. Offering them opportunities for volunteer work, clubs that give them opportunities to give back to their community. That's a big part of it too.
We are defying the odds and making a huge difference in our kids' lives. And this makes a difference in college knowing and going, as well as the future careers and even the networks that they are establishing and evolving in their future as they grow.
It changed my life coming here, from where I was as a teacher to where I am now, and to be able to give back to students and help them do whatever they want to do. That's really special. I love this place, and I'm so happy that I'm here, and I'm so happy that I get to share this with my colleagues.
I love what we do here. I love watching the students flourish and go and get to do great things. They come back for Alumni Day and they talk about how great their experience was here and how it prepared them for college.
We are enrolling now, so the students that we are looking for are highly motivated, highly talented students who want to make a change in the world. They're invested, there will be homework every night, but you will also be around this community of people who support you and challenge you, and you will grow. So enrollment is open at University High School, and we are seeking for highly motivated students who want to make a change.
Buzz with good things this evening, so yeah, you got to. Oh, the mumbles. Thank you, season ticket holders. And where's our drum kids? All right. We ready? All right. Thank you, everybody. We will reconvene, and I will turn it back over to Superintendent Calles for Superintendent Updates Part 2.
Thank you, President Chapman, members of the board. To continue with some of our celebrations, on March 27th, we proudly broke ground on the Tolleson Union High School District Training and Learning Center. This exciting project will support our growing departments and our Family Resource Center, as well as getting a new home for our Distance Learning Academy as we continue expanding opportunities for our community. It was a bright, sunny day, not too hot, a little warm, but not too hot. Perfect day for our groundbreaking, and we hope to welcome everybody back in about a year or so when we're finally doing the ribbon cutting out at this same facility. And to everybody that was out there, great pictures going. It was a very great event. And our spring CTE advisory was held at La Jolla recently. This was an opportunity to showcase our students' work and how their skills are preparing them for careers in industry. We also appreciate our industry partners for joining us to lend their expertise from the perspectives of the business community. It was a great turnout recently at Westview High School when the 16th annual TUHSD Juried Visual Arts Exhibition took place. There were so many amazing pieces this year. Congratulations to the art teachers who help our students reach their full potential and for being at the event to highlight our student winners. Tolleson Union High School student Noah Benjamin has made it into the 2026 Arizona All-State Honor Choir. This is a huge accomplishment. Noah is one of 200 students out of the whole state of Arizona to have made it in. The choir will be directed by Anton Armstrong from St. Olaf College. The all-state performances will be at ASU's Gammage Theater the afternoon of Saturday, April 18th. A huge thank you to the Wolverine Knight Foundation for once again supporting our TUHS students and for generously funding the following awards for this event. First place, $500 for 10 students. Second place, $250 for 10 students. Third place, $100 for 10 students. Best in show, $1,500 for one student. Honorable mentions, $50 given to 15 students. A total of $10,750 awarded. So thank you, Wolverine Knight Foundation. And let's hear it for our Tolleson Union and University High School FAFSA completers. More than 100 seniors were awarded with a field day recently for completing their FAFSAs. With the field day, currently 62% of Tolleson Union and 97% of University High students have completed the forms. And thank you to Sprouts for awarding a $2,000 grant to Westview High School to use for their future Guardians of the Garden Greenhouse project. We appreciate your support of our students and the TUHSD community. And TUHSD's third annual ESS Transition Fair is on April 16th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the West Point High School Cafe. This event welcomes all ESS students grades 9 through 12. Excellent opportunities related to employment, education, and community support await them. Some of the companies and organizations involved include Maricopa Community Colleges, Department of Developmental Disabilities, Vocational Rehabilitation, Small Business Employers, Day Programs, Housing Facilities, Parks and Recreation, and the Autism Society of Greater Phoenix. So thank you for your partnership in making this a great event. Also, wanted to bring up to the board's attention that we have now received the second payment from the Isaac School District on our leaseback agreement with them. So it's another payment of $1.4 million. So all their payments continue to be on time ever since we executed that agreement with them. And that is just some of the updates since our last board meeting.
Question, please.
We can't do questions during superintendent updates. You
Can I
follow up
make
afterwards.
a statement?
Well, during our board updates, if it's relevant, yes. All right, so thank you, Superintendent Calles. We'll go to board updates. Member Ortega-Romero.
No updates for me, thank you.
Thank you. Member Luna, Dr. Luna Hara. All right, Member Sutton.
Just want to belated happy Easter. Hope everyone had a wonderful break and time with their close ones. And I know that, you know, with everything that is coming down with well, can I ask the question about the Isaac?
You can ask questions, but they can't be answered during the board update. He can respond to you later.
Okay. So, you know, I just want to make it clear that the Isaac deal is a win-win situation, that once things are resolved after the years, and that we know publicly that every year payment is achieved, we will be on task, and that nothing will be lost, and it'll be everything gained for all parties involved. And I think we will be all heading to a conference soon, and we will be back with some information based on our trip there. So until our next board meeting, stay tuned.
Vice President Del Palacio.
Yeah, I just want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to Principal Bo for lending us your Copper Canyon band at the ribbon cutting, or excuse me, the groundbreaking for our Teaching and Learning Center, otherwise known as TLC. And I know folks thought that was the band, but it wasn't. But it was a great time. The kids were jamming. Thank you so much for bringing them and having them be a part of that special moment. Thank all of our staff that were involved with it, our facilities team, everyone there. That is going to be a special place. That's going to give our staff, again, just the space needed to serve our students more effective efficiently. And the Family Resource Center, again, they had the schematics there and the blueprints and the renderings, and it's just going to be phenomenal. I know it was already mentioned in previous meetings, but that center doesn't just serve folks here. I mean, we serve folks from all across the valley who will come to this center. And so what a blessing that is to be able to have a resource like that right here in the West Valley in our backyard for our families who need it most. That's my update. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to mention also thank you to our project team, our staff members that were involved with putting together the groundbreaking event. It was a great turnout, and similar comments to my colleagues that this facility is going to be a great benefit for our staff, our students, certainly our community in the district and outside of the district. So thank you to everyone who has had a role in putting that together. Was also able to attend the CT advisory committee meetings. We continue to see increased engagement with our business partners to support our CT programs. Shout out to La Jolla, the Lobos, and our culinary students that put out a great spread for that event. And then I also just wanted to, I know we're still kind of finishing up testing, so just want to thank everyone, especially everyone's been proctoring all those fun and exciting exams. I'm sure that it's not been challenging at all, so I think we have maybe like one more week left or so of testing. So thank you for everyone for putting in the work, not just on testing day, but making sure our students are ready for those exams across our district. And with that, I will start with our public participation. We do have one request. Dave Briggs, you'll have 2 minutes. And
aren't we supposed to read the public participant or not
it's
necessarily?
It's posted.
And that'll be okay?
Mhm.
All right, thanks.
Superintendent Kayas, President Chapman, governing board members. What a mistake, I think, sometime in the district's name. Perhaps we should be adding Union High corporate headquarters for land acquisition and development. School districts exist to increase student achievement, not to spend time, personnel, and money on land acquisition and development. Not in the land business. In 23, the district passed a bond for only $25 million. There are those in this community who believe this and other bond money would be to align projects to the master plan, which called for a new CEA, Lighthouse Academy, DLA, University High, Maintenance Center, District Office Expansion, and Westview ROTC. Special ed building maintenance shop became reality, but the others did not. How much did this cost the taxpayers? $500,000 wasted in planning. The Dominion project, how's that going? Have any of you read the document? How much has TUHSD spent so far in attorney fees, escrow, consultants? On page 19 of the agreement, under cooperation, the district agrees to reasonably cooperate with Dominion's efforts to obtain any government or quasi-government approvals. District will assist Dominion with Dominion intention for rezoning. If the conditions are not met, Dominion may terminate the agreement. Did they terminate the agreement? Did they get their money and expenses reimbursed? How much did TUHSD owe Dominion? How much is over and above what Dominion paid? Later tonight, the board will discuss allowing the superintendent to exchange vacant land. When is enough enough? How much more taxpayer money must be spent on projects that are not completed before you put a stop to wasteful spending? How does any of this raise student achievement? How about that $80 million surplus? Ever account to the public on where that money went? Thanks.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll move to our information discussion items, the Employee Handbook 2026-2027. I don't see a name on here, but I presume our Executive Director, Stacey Alvarez, will present on that.
Good evening, President Chapman, Vice President Del Palacio, members of the board. We just wanted to present the Employee Handbook for 26-27. It was sent out to all cabinet members so that they can do all the revisions for the upcoming year. I won't go over 52 pages with you, but if you have any questions or comments, I will gladly answer those for you.
All right, thank you. Members' questions? Yes.
I love the cover. It just the standard pictures of the students, our previous alumni. Love that design. I just have a question. I don't have any particular concerns about the handbook per se. I just have a question on how you guys went about getting this to this point, and how is this different from the handbook from the previous year? Do we do this on a yearly basis?
So if there's changes, but there weren't any major changes until recently, we had some policy changes and things of that nature. If you go through it, you'll see that the policies are attached. So we wanted to update policies and things of that nature, which is why we sent it out to all of the cabinet members to take it to their departments to add the changes. And then typically we were hoping to get it put in with our benefits, because our benefits enrollment started yesterday, so that our staff could sign off on it at the same time. But we'll just send it out and have them sign off. There is a paper copy in the back for them to sign off, but we want to do it electronically so it's easier for our staff.
So like policies, updates at the ledge yearly, like with the cell phone usage, now that's going to be in the handbook to say not to be allowed. and
Correct. All
things
of
like
that was
Those
added.
little details. Again, I won't be able to find those differentiate. I'm just
That's
going to
okay.
have faith in the cabinet members and the teams that put this together. So I really appreciate the due diligence and the details. Well done. It looks really nice, though.
Thank you.
No further questions. Thank you, Ms. Almaroz. Thank you for your to your team and our cabinet for putting this together. All right. I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a second? Right. I vote yes. Member Ortega Romero.
Yes.
Member Sun.
Yes.
Member Del Palacio is not present right now. Member or Dr. Luna Nahara. All right, that motion passes. Thank you. Very extensive list there. All right, we will go to our first action discussion item, discussion consideration to approve intergovernmental agreement between the Glendale Elementary School District and Tolleson Union High School District for garage and mechanical services. I'm turning this over to you, Superintendent Guys. Okay.
Yes, Mr. President, members of the board, Glendale Elementary presently does not have any mechanics. They're not alone in that situation. There are other districts that are looking at whole-scale eliminations of transportation departments as funding gets tighter for districts. They reached out originally to Glendale Union for support. Glendale Union does not have the bandwidth to support them. So then they have reached out to us for support. The MOU that is for your consideration would have us being reimbursed for those services that they need from mechanics, and so they would bring their buses over here, and we would be able to service their buses with our team, and then just bill it back to Glendale Elementary.
All right, members, any questions in regards to the IGA?
So I just want to clarify that this was brought to their feeder high school, the Glendale Union High School District, and they said they did not have the bandwidth. Usually, in these kind of situations, I would caution that we continue to touch base with their respected feeder school, just because hypothetically speaking, we don't want to step on anyone else's tail. For example, if we were to have an EV station, whatever, we won't want the courtesy of our feeders to contact us and work with us than to go another district. So my concern is that if we could, moving forward, to get that clarified sooner than later, that would be great. But that's just where I stand, and I just want to make sure that we don't start a piracy war, with other districts. We have to be very cautious with the optics out there. We want to build bridges, especially with our neighboring board members and their superintendent. So as moving forward, we should be a little bit more, cautious. But again, this issue, I wasn't told until the last minute, and that if we could just get that up and running beforehand. It's great that our superintendent knows, but ultimately it's the board's responsibility, and it has to be brought to our knowledge as well, so that our community is aware of the partnership and contracts that we have. And but of course, this is great that we can help them out. So glad to see this on the agenda for discussion. Thank you.
Members, any further questions? All right, with that, I make a motion to approve the IGA. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All right, I vote yes. Member Del Palacio, or Vice President Del
Yes.
Palacio, sorry. Member Ortega Romero,
Yes.
Member Sun, and Member Dr. Luna O'Hara. All right, that motion carries. Thank you. Our second item is discussion and consideration to approve the exchange of vacant district land. Superintendent Kaez.
Yes, Mr. President, members of the board, so this land is referencing our vacant land that we have here to the south of the district office. Originally, we had been working for about a year, maybe over a year now, on bringing some affordable housing to the community. When a school district is building a school, zoning doesn't apply. But when a school district is building anything else, zoning does apply. And it required a rezone in order for us to be able to build the housing. Now, several years ago, when this idea was first brought to the city, they were fully on board with us matching their developments that are to our west, which includes retail along 99th Avenue and residential right behind that with a multifamily development, and to extend that all the way up through Harrison. So several years ago, that was the plan. Everybody was on board with the plan. But then recently, the city has changed their mind, and despite their own surveys that state that there is a great need for affordable housing here in our area, they have decided that they do not wish to partner with us. They cited that in their city council meeting on March 24th as being the specific reason that even though they believe in Dominion, even though they believe this is needed for the community and that this is a win-win-win, that they do not wish to partner with the school district, and so they denied the rezoning. We worked at Dominion throughout this process, and so no, Dominion is not asking for any of their earnest money back. They leave their earnest money with us. So, other than being out mostly my time, because I was the one working most closely with it, the earnest money more than covers all of our legal fees for the lawyer assisting us as we were drafting those documents. This exchange now would allow more flexibility for the board and the district to look at exchanging out of this parcel and getting into a parcel in one of our 3 other municipalities, so we could then reconsider being able to provide affordable housing for the community. It would just be a different section of the community that we serve. As I'm sure the board is well aware, City of Tolleson represents 6 square miles of our community, and the district is 102 square miles. So it would be somewhere in the other 96 square miles where we would look to now be able to provide this affordable housing, and giving the authority to make this exchange would be able to make that possible. Otherwise, we would be limited to only being able to either lease this land out for industrial, because that's what it's zoned for right now, or to develop it for a school. So that's the extent of the limitations, and that's why this exchange is brought here before you tonight.
All right. Thank you, Superintendent Kaez. I appreciate the sequence of events that played out with this. It's definitely unfortunate. Like I said, I saw the news article, I saw the study that said that would have been a great benefit for our community as a whole. We had the land to lease to do that. So yeah, at this point, it sounds like us just needing to find an alternative use for it. So yeah, I think this is an ideal proposal to just kind of see what our options are. Members, any questions in regards to this authorization?
I do have some questions on the statements that Superintendent Guys made, just for clarification. And now that rezoning is industrial, or it could be a school, would micro school be a consideration allowed to be built on? with the new zoning?
Member Son, President Chapman, yes, if we are building a school of any type of school, zoning doesn't apply. So zoning applies when we are building something that is not a school, then we're subjected to the zoning.
And I'm just going to throw this out. I'm not promising anything. I'm not predicting anything in the future. But what about expanding it to the facilities that we already exist, like to expand our distant learning or continuation or things like that? I mean, any kind of school. I just want to make sure that that we're clear on what we can do with the current rezoning.
Yeah, so a school, meaning for school purposes, if it's a school, then that's going to be fine. It's anything that is not going to be considered a school that zoning is going to apply.
And now that we won't be able to build affordable housing, which we're not in the business of doing, it's just that coincidentally, the contract that we have and the person who was, the organization that was interested in it still happens are building affordable housing apartments, correct?
Member Son, President Chapman, correct. We would not be the ones who are going to build the affordable housing. We can put any type of restrictions we want on who we want to lease land to. And so we were going to be in the business of essentially having a ground lease that would generate $142 million on a piece of land that we paid $3 million for. And we were going to lease that over to Dominion. And Dominion also had $60 million that they won in lottery to help fund. There's an application process, and you have to get selected and get picked. They got awarded $60 million to help subsidize the cost of this construction. So the $60 million now goes back, and yes, we don't earn the $142 million, but it was going to be a long-term ground lease.
So our contract with Dominion, is that still in place? Because unfortunately, we have the rug being pulled underneath our feet, and now we're stuck with the contract that we still are in place with Dominion. So what are the options that we need to do moving forward?
Member Son, President Chapman, Dominion has walked. So they were already in $1.5 million hard of their own money. On the 31st, they were about to incur another $500,000 that they were going to not be able to recover if the project didn't move forward. And without a commitment from the city that a rezoning would be occurring in the near future, they were no longer willing to go that far into the red for a deal that they didn't think that was going to come to fruition. So they've already walked from the deal, which means we retain our earnest funds, and they take the loss.
Well, unfortunately, will be a loss for the district. And the loss, if you could give us a number on that, I want the community and those that understanding that this is not for anyone but for our students and then our staff. This district, wherever we do, is serving the community. Ultimately, anything we lose, the community loses. So what has happened for the district now that we don't have the contract with Dominion and they have walked because they already can't afford to go further in the red? As you just mentioned, they already lost millions of dollars. And this is really poor business. This was done with intention. So again, Superintendent Guys, if you could share with us the tremendous loss for this community that we are serving.
Yes, Member Son, President Chapman. This exchange is before you, so I can have the opportunity to go work in another municipality and get back the revenue expectation that we were going to have from the Dominion deal. So, even though it'll be with another partner at this point. So the $142 million that we would have earned on that deal, I'm still expecting to find another deal that is equal to or greater than that. So we'll recoup that, and what we lose is time, because now it's going to take time to be able to reestablish that same arrangement. I was well over a year invested into this one. So it'll take time to set that back up again, but the revenue will come, it's just delayed. So really what we're out is my time, our lawyer's time, but the earnest money more than pays for the lawyer. So it's time.
Let me clarify. What you just said is that we can find another land. And that land has to be within the Tolleson Union High School district, correct?
Correct.
So being in our district, the options we have left with various city and municipalities will be Phoenix, Glendale, Avondale. When we have what's left, there's no guarantee. Is there, we can't guarantee that we will find land or receive approval of zoning from these city municipalities. Based on what has happened already, the stigma, the optics, I am very worried about. In addition, I'm also very concerned that when that time is still ticking and we don't have a guarantee of allowance going into these various locations, which we are constrained within our own boundaries. So legally, we can't go outside of our district, correct?
Member Son, President Chapman, that's a gray area. There are districts who do own land outside of their own district and develop the land and lease the deal. So I'm not going to weigh in on that aspect of it. I would not complicate the deal by going outside of the district. I would be looking at keeping it inside the deal. In regards to we have no guarantees, I don't intend to make the same mistake twice. The conditions of the exchange is I would be looking for not only a commitment from that municipality, but I'd probably have a hard condition in there that the land is rezoned prior to the exchange.
There's no guarantee for anything. Making mistakes twice, there's no guarantee in that. My concern right now is to find land within our boundaries and what is left. And based what we have experienced, my fear is fear in working with our district. What has continued and what we're planning to do. So with this land, situation is very, very unfortunate. There are a lot of people that made this happen. I personally am not happy. The price that we pay is not on me. I've lost nothing personally, but this community has lost tremendous amount. Our students, their families, their teachers, their staff, the district office, everyone has lost. Funding and supporting our public education when our own state government is going against public education, against teachers, to shut us out, and then we're here playing games. I appreciate superintendents for your statement. I do wish you and support you in your confidence. I just personally don't feel it. I am concerned, but whatever we have to do, we'll move forward, hopefully together, and survive this. But thank you for your statement.
Members. Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Calles, I just want to validate for the action item here. It doesn't specify to any compromise. So like if you do find a deal, you would have to come back to the board for approval.
Member Ortega Romero, President Chapman, the exchange does give the authorization for me to move forward with the exchange. So you are granting me the ability to make the exchange. I would bring that back to the board when I have when I have a parcel lined up and when I believe I have the appropriate zoning to go back out for the affordable housing or to look at other possible deals. Ever since I first announced the affordable housing deal, other districts have moved forward with their own deals now. Some of them are looking at build to rents and looking at those as being more lucrative on the district end than the affordable housing. The affordable housing just, to me, offers a greater benefit to the community than the build to rents. But yes, you're giving me the authority to make the exchange. It doesn't necessarily necessitate that needs to come back to the board, but obviously I'll be communicating with the board as I look at parcels.
And just a quick follow-up. So the actual the transaction of the land swap wouldn't need to come back to the board, but future, whatever's gonna be built there?
There are, yes, so there are multiple aspects of this project that are going to need to come back to the board. The first one is going to be, once I have the parcel, I am going to need to come back to the board to call for a question on the ballot to then give us the same authority that we have over this land, which is called a site question. It's authorization to lease, sell, or exchange the parcel. You always do the three of them together when you put them out. They usually pass 75% yes. But I'd have to come back to the board for that authority. And then once the partner is lined up to do the development, I'm going to have to come back to the board again to get the board to go ahead and agree to the partner that we have to do the actual development. So there's going to be multiple opportunities for the board to weigh in as this progresses. And of course, in my regular board updates, I'll keep the board apprised once I do get those different checkpoints taken care of. As I stated before, it took a long time to bring this first deal together. I first floated the concept several years ago. City was fully on board. Probably should have done rezoning back then. Probably should have did it at least when we did the retail on the frontage. But you'll have those multiple points to be able to weigh in as this deal progresses, but it'll probably take some time. This is probably going to take me another year to put back together again.
Thank you.
Dr. Luna.
Yeah, thank you. I would encourage the public to watch the Tolleson City Council meeting that was mentioned earlier so that you can hear in their words what their concerns were, so that the reason why they're not willing to partner with the district is not taken out of context. That's number one. Number two, I'm concerned that this was not done in a work study. This was kind of thrown out at us very last minute. We have been down this path before when we talk about land exchanges. In the past, we have talked about doing a joint session with the City Council so that we can receive the same information at the exact same time, and we can have an open discussion that impacts the entire community so that we can hear everybody's concerns and voices at the same time. That's something that could have also been done had that been the directive. We have, in my opinion, I think Mr. Romero brings up a very good point, that just blindly allowing the administration to secure land and authorize that is us, in my opinion, delegating our power. And that's where we are here. We're the voice of the taxpayer, so we should be, it should come back to the board for a vote before engaging in any type of contract. I worry a little bit about whether the property has been valued or if we will be receiving the value of the land. It's very difficult to get an even swap when you're doing land for land. Just because the acreage is the same doesn't necessarily mean that the value is the same. I remind our community that we are here to educate students. That should be our #1 priority. This, although absolutely important, is out of the scope of what our community put us here to do, right? They did not elect us to go into building housing. They elected us to educate, to oversee the education of their schools, of their students. And so I would love to see this tabled, love to see this come back as a work study. There is no rush. We just heard that this could take potentially a year or more. Allow the community and the taxpayers to come and share their piece and their concerns and tell us how they want their tax dollars spent. Also, for us to focus on academic achievement, because I think that is where we need to be focusing on right now. And this, to me, is not something that I think we need to be undertaking right now.
President Chapman, if I may.
Just wanted to respond to a couple things. Like,
I wasn't finished, but go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I thought you.
Yeah, I think that we should hold on to this land for future growth. I think Ms. Sun also brings a good point. I know in the past we have talked about micro schools. Since the school that we just approved, that will probably be our final full school, like our full traditional school. I think it is important for us to hang on to valuable land in the case that either this board or a future board decides that they want to take the district in a different route. What we see right now is we are getting outworked by small schools, private schools. And so if we're able to look at some models from our neighboring schools, if we could look at an art school, if we could look at a girls' school, if we could, I mean, the options are endless, and we've had these discussions. I think it would be wise for us to hang on to the land and explore those options before we commit to a land swap that might not be equal in value.
So, yeah, I mean, lots going on here. So I watched the council meeting. They didn't provide tons of context except for not wanting to work with us. One of the things that was also mentioned was this was a great project. Nobody disputed that the community needed affordable housing. Nobody disputed the quality work that the developer does. I saw the PowerPoint slides. They put together a phenomenal project. All that come down to was working with us. That's unfortunate. And now collectively our community doesn't have access to this support that we all thought that they would have. And that's unfortunate. We did our part in trying to make sure that folks had that. As far as our scope, yeah, our scope is academics, and that costs money. And as I think everybody on this dais knows, the state isn't the best at funding our schools. We go out for bonds and overrides across the state. Some of those pass, some of those fail from time to time. But we need resources. This is an option that not only provided a major community benefit, but provided the district with a significant amount of money over a period of time that was not a burden to the taxpayers. I mean, $139 million essentially increase on flipping a piece of land that's going to go towards supporting our students and our staff across the district, in addition to the benefit of having that kind of housing. Yeah, we weren't not in that business. That's not what we were doing. We were collecting a check to reinvest that into our students, into our staff, and into our programs. I mean, for me, it's the longer that we wait, the less time that we have, or the longer it's going to take to get these additional resources that generally don't always come. So for me, I think it's better to find what alternative options are out there, whether it be a land swap in a different city, or looking at additional folks that want to possibly do a lease for the land as it is a industrial rezoning. So I'm fine because the authorization just gives us options to look at different options to bring to the table.
And yes, President Chapman, if I may add to that,
yeah.
The press on the time is, again, we have to identify the dirt and make the exchange before the second meeting in May if we're going to call the site question this November. So if that isn't happening within the next month, then we're not looking at being 1 year behind, we're looking at being 2 years behind. So, you know, that's the piece right now. As it is, it's going to be very difficult. I have, you know, our broker looking right now, but it's going to be very difficult to find the land in time for this November's election to be able to pose that site question. But any further delays makes it absolutely impossible to be able to do that. And then just to reiterate, I believe you touched on this. We were never looking to be the one building the housing, being the landlord for the housing, collecting rent from people. It's a ground lease. We are leasing out the dirt and getting a check back for the dirt. We spent $3 million on a piece of dirt. We were going to get $142 million for the use of the dirt, and then the dirt gets returned to our ownership. So we were going to retain the asset and make $139 million profit by leasing out the asset.
Vice President Del Palacio.
Yeah. Thank you for the clarification. I just wanted to reiterate that we're not building housing, or we're not in the in the business of construction. It was a simple land lease, and land leases aren't unprecedented. And I do want to acknowledge that our staff are doing one heck of a job on focusing on student achievement and outcomes. Hence the reason we have 3A schools for the first time ever in the district's history, with 4 on the way and the majority to come soon. So I know our staff is working hard. You've heard comments from my colleagues praise you during their presentations that you're doing one fine job. So I know we are focusing on student academics and student achievement. And in fact, in my opinion, unfortunately, the only barrier that I see that continues to hold back achievement in some cases is petty adult egos and political beefs that really have no business in educating kids. So if we could all just get over that, then the real winners will be our students. And so with that, I'm happy to entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a clarification. In no shape did I say that, just for clarification, that I disagree that our staff are doing a wonderful job. They absolutely are. But we have room for improvement. Clearly, we have students who, unfortunately, are not on track to graduate and don't have the skill set to do so. And so that should be our number one focus. I'm also aware that we are not physically building anything and that we are physically not collecting rent from anybody. So that's those 2 points are not, in my opinion, to attribute them or insinuate that I don't know that is disappointing. What I am concerned about is that, again, our job is to answer to the taxpayers. When we say a simple lease, a 99-year lease is not a simple lease, right? That is a huge commitment that is not for us to burden a future board and a future superintendent without the community involvement and community voice. That's where my concerns are. I would like to make the motion to table so that we can have a proper work study where we can discuss, kind of like we are now, but to be very specific on what it is that that we envision and have the community be able to voice those opinions. I don't think that the time that we are given is proper. I think we're rushing. We don't have a time limit. We don't have a deadline. It is a deadline that we are choosing ourselves. Like, it's not something that somebody's saying, if you don't do this by this November, it's never going to happen. That land has been sitting there vacant for years and years and years. And so, in my opinion, I do think that we need to talk about the authorization, that it's not a blind authorization, that there are checks and balances, and that the administration is coming to the board every step of the way, and not just blindly allowing the administration to make this decision and then bringing it to us to rubber stamp.
I just have a question as well and comment. You know, land for any school district we own. We have 5 feeder schools, they own land. And we could potentially swap with them. We could potentially swap with other city municipalities, but they all have to lie within our district. I think my concern is that it was a green light. It was a green light for the longest time until things started to happen, the oppositions, and it's unfortunate that this could be so politicized, and the narrative that has taken over is filled with false information. And to this day, we are still correcting them. And it's not being reached out to the community. Those that made the damage with the misinformation has not come forward to correct them and just sat and stood quiet. And, we need to continue to tell the truth and be transparent. I'm not against the idea that, we could be more forthcoming moving forward, bringing this. I just have a question, Superintendent. If we were to hypothetically do have a land that we are interested in, do we not need the board of our feeder school if it's their land that we're interested, or the board of the city municipality where the land may be in their jurisdiction? Do we not need their approval?
Member Sun, President Chapman, yes, if the person that we are going to exchange with is another municipality, they're also going to have to work with their board or their city council. If we're exchanging with a private owner, then we would not have that limitation.
So with that said, wouldn't that be just as good as having a work study with them? Because it kind of it's almost like, double backing when we already have the relationship and we can work with them and to see if we can come to agreement, and then they will agree on their end to approve at their board meetings and vice versa. The only reason I kind of hesitate with the work study and having a input, from the city, is that they don't do that for us ever, and that's not a normal procedure. I mean, we already have it in place, in structure, where our superintendent has a land and he discussed it with the municipality of interest, and it comes to a mutual agreement. Now, if they change the zoning at the last minute, it's their prerogative, and we had to move on until we find something. Can you again explain the timeline of the importance of this and why we need to get this done sooner than later?
Ms.
Yes.
Sun, and just for clarification, the city did not change the zoning on this. The zoning has remained the same.
Member Sun, President Chapman, the timing, the importance of the timing is that right now we have the authority to enter into a long-term lease with this piece of dirt. But when we exchange out of this piece of dirt for another piece of dirt, that authorization does not carry with it. So I would need to know the location of that piece of dirt so I can bring it back to you and say, now can we call for a question to get authority to lease this new piece of dirt? And that's going to need to happen by that second meeting that we have in May. So that puts me right now at roughly a month and a half to get this land identified and to get the transaction moving so I can be able to bring it back to the board. And just for a little more context and history on this particular piece of dirt, I was beginning to feel old when I hear statements like we've had it for years and years and years and years. I acquired the land. I worked that deal with the board back when I first got here. So to give the history on how that happened when I first got here, Dr. Keno Flores has said he had always wanted a road that goes out the back of transportation and makes it to 99th Avenue. That he'd been trying for 15 years to make that happen, and that the property owner, Monkarsh, would never agree to it. So then I went and told Monkarsh, hey, want to buy your dirt off you. Fred Stiles was the guy that was running it for the group. I told Fred I want to buy that piece of dirt off you, just enough to be able to build a road. He said no. I was like, okay, well, I was told that was going to be your first answer. I go, so now I'm not asking anymore. We're gonna condemn you for that road. We need to get access to 99th Avenue. And we went through the whole process of condemnation. I gave deposition. During his deposition, he stated that he was telling the judge, if you allow them to build that road, you are going to ruin my property. I could then do nothing with my property. And which my response was, then sell us the whole property. He agreed to it. The board agreed to it. At that time, Rousseau said, I hear you're buying Monkarsh's property, which is the property immediately to the south of that. Do you also want to buy my property? I was like, I'll take that to the board as well. So we bought both properties back then. That was a handful of years ago. I know I've been with the district for 9 years now, but that was within my first few years here that we got those pieces of property. When we bought the land from the city, the old city hall, one of the things that they wanted to do to solidify our commitment towards this idea of doing a strip of retail followed by a strip of housing was that they wanted us to commit to doing that strip of retail, and they asked if we would approve a rezoning to make the frontage along 99th retail in order to, as part of the acquisition of the old city hall, which we agreed to that, said yes. This idea of having a strip of retail and a strip of housing behind it, like fully committed to it. So we rezoned for retail, at the city's request back then, but we didn't do the rezone for the housing. And so, that's why I say I wouldn't make the same mistake twice, because when we agreed to the retail, we should have also fully committed to the housing at that point and said, and also let's do the rezone on the housing. So that's kind of the history behind the zoning. The zoning was always industrial. They actually had warehouse buildings that were fully designed at the time that we acquired the land. They were about to build warehouses right there. It was 3 buildings. I remember the design that they had back then, three little warehouse buildings. Nobody really wanted to see more warehouse behind the district. And so the acquisition worked out, and it was always going to be this combination from the time we acquired the land, this combination of we need to build part of it for our use, which we have our facilities warehouse. Part of it was going to be for our use, and part of it was going to be for revenue generation. So we went into that with the idea that this was going to be an investment.
Again, I just have another clarification. I mean, can we say that if we were to move forward with this project and the zoning was approved to build, would this be considered like a passive, income for the district, that we are focusing on student achievement and student outcome?
Absolutely. This is an investment that will yield us back revenues that we could then put towards the classroom. You've heard the team talk about everything they're able to do when they've had more staff added, when it isn't just a one-man show. Like, in order to continue to have those supports, we need to continue to bring in revenue. Arizona ranks 49th in the nation for funding. The idea that somebody else is coming to save us, no, there's plenty of other districts that are closing schools, closing transportation departments. We just approved an IGA for a school district that can no longer afford to have mechanics. So this idea that somebody else is coming to save us is very naive. Like, we need to be creative about how are we generating our own revenue that is not reliant on tax dollars, and that is what this will do.
So passive income like this cellular tower that we approve, and along with the other ones, though, are also under the bucket for passive income. And how many passive incomes do we generate overall? And how would that compare to this lost opportunity, potentially?
Well, I have no limit on ideas. It's a matter of
No, not the ideas. We
wherever else we
currently
can get to.
have passive incomes.
Yes, we have
For
the Isaac
example-
deal, we have cell towers, we have other things that are generating revenue for the district that doesn't require the district to do additional efforts in order to get those revenues.
Can you share with us a bill that is being passed around at the ledge currently that will be supporting the initiative that we were planning to operate with the affordable housing?
I don't think
wouldn't
we
say
can
the Senate- yeah.
we can't really discuss bills and stuff right now.
No,
kind
it's
of a
not
little
about the
bit
bill.
outside
The
of
title and the content of it and the purpose of it. It's
Well,
not the details of the
it's-
bill.
It's a little bit outside of the range
No,
of the
it's
conver-
not,
well,
because this
I'm saying it
applies
is.
to, the
That's-
bills
that's
actually
fine.
directly
I'm
affects
saying it
the
is.
discussion that we're having right now.
That's fine, but
which
it's
is
not
the
law
total.
right now, and it's not on the agenda.
No, it's not about on the agenda or
I
not,
will-
because
it
that's
is
the
a
bill. That
matter
will never come
of
to
it
the
being on
agenda for a vote.
I would imagine not. We're not the Senate.
No, it's not about the Senate or the, it's about our government passing a bill for public consumption
Okay,
and discussion.
And you can talk about it offline if you like, but it's not for here. Vice President Del Palacio. I will second. All right, I vote yes. Vice President Del Palacio?
Yes.
Member Ortega Romero?
Yes.
Member Sun? Yes. Member Dr. Luna Nahara? All right, thank you. That motion carries. Our third item is discussion review of board policy, EBC emergencies, first reading. Turn this over to Superintendent Kayes. I believe it was mentioned briefly in our OASIS presentation. Not sure if you have any additional comments or members of the team. All right, members, any questions in regards to policy EBC?
No.
All right. With that, I motion to approve.
I'd like to have a request for a future agenda item.
We're
for
not
next
there yet.
meeting. Oh.
Motion to approve the first reading of EBC. Oh, sorry, it's just a discussion. My apologies. That's right. We've been here for a moment, haven't we? All right, so that'll be back on our consent agenda at the next meeting.
Yeah.
All right, request for future agenda.
Yes, thank you. I would like to bring back the naming of the 8th school for a discussion.
All right. Members, if you have anything else, please send that over to Superintendent Kayes. We'll make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? All right. Ready? All right. I vote yes. Vice President Del Palacio? Member Ortega Romero?
Yes.
Member Sun? Member Dr. Luna Nahara? The motion does not carry. Technically, the meeting is not adjourned, so I'll make another motion to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second? All right. Let's try that again. Right? Yeah, April Fool's was last week, folks. The one time. Yes. All right. I vote yes again. Vice President Del Palacio?
Yes.
Member Ortega Romero?
Yes.
Member Sun? Yes. And Member Dr. Luna Nahara? We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.